I'm the same way though. Like I ramble more than you.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to a podcast. Today we have Alex Leyba. I don't know when this is coming out, but we are recording this in the beginning of October. But Alex Leyba movie 2 is out now. How are you feeling about it?
Pretty good. I'm glad it's finally done. I mean, it's long time coming.
Yeah, yeah. Long time coming, a lot of shooting, and it's a long one too. It's a really long movie. It's like 3 hours.
Almost 3 hours. Yeah.
Yeah. It was good. I really enjoyed it. So I don't know how much. Obviously we're not here to spoil the film. Obviously everybody link in the description to go watch the movie.
We
But
could if you want. I mean,
well,
or we could do like a spoiler section like at the end
okay,
of it. I think that'd
yeah,
be a good idea.
yeah.
Like
So we'll
we
just tell people if they're listening, spoilers here, leave now, kind of thing. So I guess I guess because we don't want to keep it go straight into spoilers. I guess my first question is because obviously this is the not the obviously this is a big movie that took about 3 years later because you released the first one 3 years ago, and now here we are with this one.
Mhm.
And yeah, I guess well, obviously, my first question is: was it always the intention? Because I guess we could. This isn't really that big of a spoiler, but it opens with you being kicked out of your house, similar to like what happened with Mason. And your first film was that always your intention?
With this story, yeah. Okay, so the thing is that like this is kind of went through a lot of different well, I shouldn't say a lot of like different like iterations over time, because like at first there was in 2022 I released like a short film version of the Leyba movie 2, and it was like like about 39 minutes, and then I was gonna do three, which was going to be this story, but then with a lot more added to it. And like, and yeah, with this one, yeah, like I said, I'm just glad it's finally done. It took way longer than I ever would have thought. And it wasn't supposed to take this long, because I also made the documentary in between, and then also like, it took longer with certain other reasons. But yeah, it was supposed to be one, two, and then three, and then I but now that short film version of two is no longer canon. But there are certain elements of it that are in this, and like some like I think about like 5 minutes of that original short film version is a part of this, but most of it I cut. Like but yeah, like with what you said about the like about this story overall, yes, like that was always the plot. Like for like that was the first thing. It's funny cuz like with Mason being kicked out, like that was the first thing that was shot for the first one, with Mason being kicked out, like when it happened. And then it's like that was the first thing that got the ball rolling on the plot, on the first one. And then this idea, or like, and then this with me being kicked out in this one was also the first thing, that got the ball rolling, the snowball rolling, with this one. And so, and also it's kind of interesting because there's a lot of things like that. So like with what a lot of sequels do is like do things that kind of mirror the first one, or like maybe a certain thing will have, like it's something a lot of sequels do, to where like something will happen that's similar to something that happened in the first one, but just in a different way. And it's like with this one, there's like I actually wrote down, I think there's like 8 or 9 things that I wrote down of things that like mirror the first one, or like things that like with what I just described. And yeah, and like that's one of them, the idea that I get kicked out in this one, and then end up living with Mason, and then Mason gets kicked out, then ends up living with me, and like it's yeah.
Yeah. I I was like watching it, and I love how you're like in the very beginning. Everybody, if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. If not, go watch it. Where you're calling up everybody that is that you like every blue tuber. It's funny. Durant Cinema has. I love watching him. He's really cool. I like watching his videos.
Mhm.
Shameless plug. Go watch Durant Cinema. He's great. He's funny. I love watching his videos.
Me too.
Um, and when you call him and you talk about the Paw Patrol Blu-ray or DVD, and I started laughing. I'm like, "Yep, that's true." Because Walmart only really does sell DVDs now.
Yeah, and it just I love just like the way he's just like, "Oh, not too bad. I just got out of Walmart." I'm like, "Yeah, it is Tuesday, because like every single Tuesday he goes out and does the
Yep.
same thing. Just got out of Walmart. Oh, back at Walmart, huh, David? No, but I love David. He's funny and he's a great guy. And like I've always watched his stuff ever since like 2016. It's probably 2017, and then he's always kept up with my stuff. And so yeah, that was I'm glad I got him in it, as well as Chris from Film Stock. The same with him. He's a great dude and makes great content as well. And yeah, I love those dudes.
Yeah, there was a few people that I didn't even recognize in that. I'm like, I knew who Brendan was. Um, I knew that. I knew some of them. I'm like, I know that guy. I've seen that guy. Oh, who's this? Right? And it was film stock. And then you had that other guy on there. It looked like it was on a FaceTime call with a still picture next to him as well.
I think maybe Carson Bates. Like he used to have a channel called Cinema Bates, and then it's also like a mini because like we did a vlog in 2018 in Indianapolis. It was a big long vlog, which is one of my favorite videos I've ever made, and that was with Brett, his friend Brett, who I actually haven't seen or talked to since we filmed that video in 2018. So it was like a mini reunion from that video, and like there was a lot more that we record. Like again, we'll get more into it like with the specifics, but I mean, but like overall, like there was just so much more filmed like with this movie, like with every single scene there's so much more that I cut, that it's just like when I look at it now, and just like when editing it, I knew how much longer all the scenes were. Like even like for so long in the editing, like just the scenes were so much longer. Like, oh, they it has to be this long, to maintain the nuance. Because like the whole point with like editing like a feature is that like it has to flow correctly. Um it has to progress the story, but it also has to be like fast moving and like entertaining, and like I looked at Oppenheimer, and like and with that the scenes go by so fast in Oppenheimer, but it's also like makes you connect with the characters and stuff like that. But like it reached a point to where like this was just so big that I knew I had to cut a lot more out than I wanted to. And so like I had to cut like 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 the whole time I was cutting tons of little things out, like the entire time. But then, like, in the last like couple weeks of editing, I really stripped everything down because it was over 3 hours for the longest time. And I thought, shit, I don't know how this is even going to be like 3 hours because it's just so big. There's so much. But then it's like I ended up, just really cutting a lot out of it, like just like stabbing the knife really far deep into it, and like, cutting out way more than I ever thought I would or could. And I lost some good stuff, but like then like at the very end of it, I looked at it and I'm like, okay, like it goes by. It's what I wanted with it you know, like the scenes being real quick, and the pacing was the way I wanted it, but at the same time, it's like I felt that I don't know. I mean, like maybe you feel differently, or maybe some people, will think it works, or maybe not. I don't know. It's like, of course, you're literally the only person that's seen it. Or
Mm-hmm.
and so it like and so I just feel like maybe I kind of like stripped a lot of the nuance out of it to where like you can't to where it just I didn't want it to like feel like a sequence of events rather than like a flowing story, to where like you can really connect to all the people and the characters and stuff like that. And so, but like by the end of it, I felt like that was the case, to where it just felt like a sequence of events. Like this happens, and then this happens, and then that happens, and then we're here now. Da, 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 da. And I thought, man, it's like it has to be this way because I'm not gonna make it into a mini series, but I don't know. I just I don't know. What's your input on that?
So, yeah, well, if you chopping it down to 3 hour, like less than 3 hours, what was the runtime for the longest time?
Well, the thing is that like I've been, chopping stuff out for, you know, a while, so I have no idea what the actual running time would be if I were to actually make like the quote unquote like mini series version of it. But there is just every single scene. There's so much cut out of every single scene, and like everything I like stripped down to the bone to where I only had the necessary information, or like the stuff that I felt was usable, which like there was still a lot of stuff that I felt was usable, or that I cut just because but like this, but like and then with what I was saying a minute ago with the not being able to connect to the characters because of like too much being cut out and like the nuance being stripped out. I felt that I don't know, like I kind of felt that with Mason, like I could have done more to add to his arc and like his reasoning for like hating me so much by the end of it. It's just like in that one little montage, which ended up being like 4 minutes, where I kind of used this. That's another thing that mirrors it, is the same score from the Uncle John thing, and it kind of does the same thing, but instead of with Uncle John and Mason, it does it with Mason and I. And like I don't know if you noticed that, like the Gone Girl soundtrack
Uh-huh.
by but I don't know, like to me it just uh I don't know. I feel like I could have done better with the Mason story, with like making it more better fleshed out, but I don't know.
Yeah. How was it like driving to all these different places for like this film and everything?
Well, I mean, it was yeah, a lot of driving, like with the first one and with this one, but it's like I don't I like driving, and it's like the people who know me, I go to a lot of conventions, and I go to a lot of screenings, and like I do a lot of like traveling and going around, to like cities and stuff to go places. So, it's like it's not that big of a deal like to me, or but it was fun, and like I actually did live with Mason for a while, and then like that was there is so much deleted stuff from Texas specifically, and like just like basically the deleted scenes video of this, or outtakes or whatever, like that video would be like over an hour long, because there's so much, like there are some deleted scenes as well, like not an absurd amount, probably like 5 or 6 like legit scenes that were cut, but like there's not too many, but like mostly everything is still in the movie, but just like all stripped down to the bone, but like I will say that like the sequences that I cut the least, I still cut stuff out of it, especially in the last uh in the last 2 weeks. I really cut a lot out, but the stuff, the sequences that I cut the least amount of stuff from is actually all the Josh stuff. Because and then also, like, I feel like there's a lot of like one takes, which, like, some of them, like, like, there's a lot of times to where I think, okay, like, I want to keep this all as one shot, but at the same time I think to myself, I just shake my head, like, it would save so much time, and it would, like, the flow would be better if I, like, cut it and made a cut, but it's better for, but it's like, and so, like, there were quite a bit of instances where I just couldn't help myself, and it's like, no, I gotta, you know, cut and then, like, make it move faster. But like, with looking at the final product, I feel like, I don't know, like, I feel like it moves too fast. But I don't know. Like, again, we'll see what other people say, because people said with the first one that, like, they thought the pacing was a little too slow. But this one, it's like, no, it's like every scene's like 2 minutes or less than that, or 1 minute, or some scenes are just like 30 seconds, and then, obviously there are scenes that are longer than 2 minutes in this, but it's like, um, yeah, but like there are a lot of one takes, specifically one that's like a full minute long. Was when me and Josh were in the car talking, and, like, it's just a one shot. It's like a 1 minute shot of us that, like, never cuts. And it's like that one. I'm like, okay, this one 1000% needs to stay. But it's like, yeah.
Is that the one where you had that angry face on you, like that blank face, like I you just spent all my money?
Well, it's that one, but then also the one before that, before we go into the casino. Like, that
Oh,
one
okay.
is the one I was referring to. Both of them, yeah, were super long takes. But it's
Yeah.
it's it's just funny that the Josh stuff is the sequences that I cut the least amount of stuff out of.
The Josh stuff, I will admit, it's really cool to see it because it's a little bit of a nostalgia for me. Because I remember back when I first discovered both of you. I think it was early 2017 when you first started doing videos together.
No, it was the end of 2015, actually. But it
Oh,
was
I think it was when it was starting to blow up is when I got recommended in 20. No, it was 2016 when I got recommended your content, I think, because you and one of your former teachers went and got Star Trek Beyond on Blu-ray.
okay. That was the end of 2016,
Yeah, that's
and
when it
so
okay, that's when it started. That's when everything started getting recommended to me from like that was a
okay.
recommended video that was the first video I ever watched and then I went back and watched other content.
Oh, I
It's
see.
been almost 10 years now. Shit.
I know, that's insane. But yeah, it's so like, are you saying the teacher video is the first one you watched?
The one about Star Trek Beyond, yeah, that was the first one I
Okay.
saw. And because it was the first one that I don't know how it got recommended to me. YouTube's algorithm was a little bit it still is weird. But it was really cool to see because I think it was I don't know what the original title was, but it was like Star Trek Beyond Blu-ray. Oh, you know what it was? I think it
Blu-ray hunting with my teacher, for
yeah,
Star Trek Beyond. Yeah,
yeah, something like that. And I really liked that video, and
I love Mr. Kinsey.
yeah, I really liked that video, and I just subscribed. Of course, I've had multiple channels since then because YouTube's YouTube's a funny place to be. Um, but I've been staying watching, and I remember when I watched when you and Josh used to make like when you got all were younger, um, and there was just that. Always loved watching those videos because I always remember the very first one, not the very first one, but the one where you guys go run around. I think it was in Half Price Books when Josh found the Forrest Gump Blu-ray, and you were just like looking at him all pissed off.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I put that in the montage of,
Yeah,
in the, like, I'm like, can I at least touch it?
yeah.
It was
I,
like,
I have to ask, was there ever like, because it's very little in the movie, where Josh says, "Hey, this is where buybacks used to be." Was there an emotional like? Did you feel emotional for that? Because I know when I went to my old childhood hometown, which will be a video next year. I went to my old childhood hometown. I shot a video outside of my old video rental store that used to be in my neighborhood, and I actually looked very very upset, and I felt emotionally like attacked, like my soul had just got crushed. Did you feel any certain way towards that, or not really?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about because I mean, yeah. I mean, not it wasn't like super intense, but definitely it was it was nostalgic going back to all those locations that we used to go to. I mean, we couldn't go in buybacks, but like
You drove
it
past the
was
building and
but it was cool going back to all of them and stuff, and it was yeah, it was nostalgic, and I definitely felt that with it, of course. And then I really felt it when I edited that song with the Wasting Money One song, which like that sequence has been edited for a long time with a completely different song, and then uh I decided to re-edit it like a month before I completed the movie. So I completely re-edited that sequence to a Wasting Money One song, and I feel like it really works. And then I got like pretty emotional when editing that,
yeah.
cuz like the lyrics match up perfectly, like, one of the lyrics is like I and I'm still having trouble saying goodbye to what I thought would be the rest of my life, and it's like I am kind of having trouble saying goodbye to this, cuz like this is like yeah, yeah, like this is framed to be like the finale. Like I really want to make three. I have a story in mind for it that is like I I really like it, and I've been thinking about it for a long time. But it would involve Bronson and Dalton, and so like it was going to be a trilogy, but then like part three, I'm not going to talk too much about this because it's not going to happen because like it was supposed to be with Bronson and Dalton, but I need both of their participation in order to do it, and then I don't have Dalton. Dalton has never liked doing videos, like even from the very beginning. Like he's never liked it. And then so like with just especially in recent years, like it just with how he is towards it, I'm just thinking to myself like there's no way in hell that it would actually happen. And so like and then I wanted him to be in two, and like I had a couple ideas, and then I would have used the scene that I shot with him from the original short film version of the Leyba movie too. But then I just decided, you know what? I'm just gonna leave it at his conclusion in the first one was I'm just gonna leave that as his conclusion and just leave it at that. I don't think Dalton's even mentioned in the movie like at all. Like he's shown in flashbacks just because he was a big part of the the channel before. But
Well, one of the
yeah,
characters brings him up in a conversation.
oh yeah. I mean, like he's mentioned just very briefly,
Yeah,
but
but he's not really like featured as much.
yeah, and what was the did you ask something else, or like was it, or like did you just ask the nostalgia question with
Yeah,
the
about the video, like driving
yeah,
past, like saying like a closed video, like something like explaining when I was up in my hometown in Pennsylvania a
yeah,
few months ago, doing a video called. I'm gonna announce it here, everybody. It should be out in February. I plan to release it around Valentine's Day. Ironically, probably because Valentine's Day 2010 will mark my 16 years being in living in Baltimore versus then being in, because that was the day I moved away from Pennsylvania to move to Baltimore. So February 14th, 2026 will be the release of that video, me going back to my hometown, which was shot in July, and
awesome.
on a freaking hot ass day. I'll mention it to you briefly here, just because I'm talking about it. I don't mean to tear away from the movie, but we will get back to it. So I went to this pizza shop that used to be a pizza shop. It's now nothing. It's actually an empty building, similar to the video store. I went to my old elementary school, which is still standing. Um, which obviously because it's a school, and then I went to the place that I first had my very first job, which was basically a cleaner for a coffee shop that is no longer there. It's actually a brewery. It's actually part of a brewery now, and I actually got permission to go inside and film the old coffee station because it's still there. It's still intact. They just don't use that part of the building. And the person that runs the building actually remembered me, so I was able to go back into the actual old part of the building that used to be the coffee shop cafe kind of thing, able to film in the kitchen that's not being used. I was able to film in the old spots, and they actually have the old TV set up, so it doesn't work, but I was able to walk through and it felt like a big nostalgia trip for me.
Mm-hmm.
So it's gonna get emotional. I actually do break down in the video. I've actually never cried on camera before, but I think that was like, and I'm an ugly crier too, so that's what's really funny. I'm like,
Oh
I'm
man.
leaving it in there because I'm like, shit, it's so real. Like it's not like that. You know how you can tell when someone's fake crying and it looks good? This is someone that is crying that it's not looking good.
Oh man.
So,
I mean, I know what you mean though. Like just going back and like looking at locations that you used to go to, but then like with them just not being there anymore, it's
yeah.
just like really I know exactly what you mean.
Uh-huh.
Like for instance, my old elementary school was has always looked exactly the same, but then I went back there recently and like up to like a year ago the playground was always still there. But then they redid the playground, like just
Oh,
that. I'm like, oh man, that's just really like it kind of like took a lot out of me. Like, damn it, like that was it was just such a huge part of my childhood playing there, and I don't know.
yeah.
But yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure like you really related to that part of it, because of your video you did and
Yeah.
stuff.
I think what people are probably going to like about it when it comes out is I'm going to release two versions. I'm going to release the journey part of it, which is going to have like little pieces of me traveling to the place and me talking about it. And then that's going to be the extended version because I don't know how well the video will actually do. So I'm just going to release two different versions. The extended cut, which is the one that I would prefer people to watch, but I know people are just gonna want to see the places that it was. I think what really hurt me the most was there was a bar in my neighborhood. Not that I ever drank there, but there was a bar in my neighborhood. I used to always remember it. Well, it's tore down now. There's nothing in its spot. So luckily, I was able to find some images. Thankfully, online of what it used to of the area before it was tore down, so that'll be in the video. um,
Hmm.
and that was a very I have to thank my friend Daniel and my friend Chelsea for my friends Daniel and Chelsea for coming with me to be my videographers for this because I don't think I could have done this by myself, especially just
Hmm.
being there by myself would have just been like really weird setting up the cameras and recording it. So yeah, there's definitely it's definitely like one of the most heartbreak. It's probably the most realistic video you're ever gonna see me emotionally in.
Wow. I mean, I'm sure that you know like you feel a certain way about it, but like I think like it'll really add to the like make it a lot better because you could like people watching it could tell that you're like
Yeah. Well,
like
the
it'll
the funniest thing is I found
you know what I'm trying to say.
yeah. Well, I think the funniest thing is the extended cut. It's really crazy. I found old footage of me from 2010 move like talking about how I'm happy to move from, and this is all unreleased videos too. I've never released this stuff, about me
Hmm.
being happy that I'm moving from Baltimore, and that's gonna open the video. That's gonna open the film, and we pick up 16 years later. Obviously, I talk about not wanting to go back, but I feel like I have to because this is where I grew up. And then when I get back, I'm talking shit about not wanting to go back in the video. And then when I actually get to some of the locations, I actually feel like it's like that moment like you never truly appreciate something until it's gone. It's kind of like
Yeah.
that. Like I never truly appreciated the owners of the pizza shop until they lost their business. I don't even know when it closed. I couldn't find any like information on when it closed, and I'm blanking on the owners' names and stuff, but like I even tried not. There's a scene where I'm trying to knock on the neighbor's door to see if they'll even answer, so I can ask him questions. And my cameraman even, and I'm gonna leave it in the video. He says, "I think we're trespassing," and I'm like, "It's just gonna be a simple question if they answer." And they never did, so we just kind of never got that why they closed or anything, what closed them or anything. So I knew the video store was closing before I moved away, so that wasn't really a big heartbreaking moment. It still sucked when I went there and all the signage was gone off the building.
Yeah, and I'm sure like when you actually got there, it probably was like more emotional than you'd think, right?
Yeah,
Than you thought
well,
it would be.
yeah, and there's a scene where we get across to the PA line and from Maryland in the PA, and we're going down. There's a part in PA that I'm from where it's kind of somewhat it's semi Amish country, so we were behind a horse and buggy for like 5 minutes, and one of my cinematographers, Daniel, he's like, man, this ain't no damn secretariat. If it was secretariat, we'd already be at our destination. Because there's a law in PA. You can't drive. You know how people will try to like bypass you on the highway? Well, there you can't do that. You can't because you'll spook the horse. So you
Mm.
gotta follow the horse. You gotta be behind. You gotta be behind the horse until they turn or until you have to turn when you come to the. We actually ended up just turning off the road we weren't supposed to go on just to get away from it.
That sucks.
Yeah,
I
but
would be. I mean, so like there's a lot of those things, like a lot of horses.
well, that was our only one encounter. But if you were going into like York or Lancaster, PA, you'd well, especially Lancaster, PA, you'd hit all Amish country there.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it was it was a very very sad moment. But I'm really glad that I did the video.
Yeah.
We went to we actually went to there's a restaurant called the Delta Family Restaurant, and that's still open. And the end of the trip, the end of the video, we actually went there and had dinner. And the waitress that is working there is actually the daughter of the owner, and the owner still owns it. And she watched me grow up for about 15 years, so I think she kind of recognized me, but I had to really tell her who I was, and then she knew who I was. So that was kind of cool.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, but I didn't get any interviews with anybody. I was like, man, because I don't know how anybody would feel about a camera being in their face. Obviously, in your film, people talk about that too.
Yeah.
Let's get
You know,
back.
it's like in general, like with you know, in general, most people don't like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Basically.
yeah, yeah. Let's get back to your movie. I'm sorry for derailing this.
Oh no, it's all good. It's
It
cool.
was just because when I was watching that scene and when Josh said, "Remember that was where buybacks was," and that just kind of hit me in the feels because I had just done something recently like that.
Yeah.
So I felt more emotionally attached to that scene for a quick second.
No, no, I completely understand. And like yeah, I mean, and also like it relates to the theme in the first one about like like the wasting money scene, and like just everything he's trying to convey in that scene. It's like he's conveying here, but just like in song, and then it's just like it just like there's a lot of things that that montage does, because it's actually John from Wasting Money One singing, but he's like, did we leave a good life behind, because it's like he used to. like yeah, obviously do the like exactly what we did, and then it's he said, and like to most people, like watching, what we do, the Blu-ray hunting, like
Yeah,
our parents and like especially like most adults or not even just everybody would just like who aren't film people would just be looking at us like, oh, you're just wasting your time, going around Blu-ray hunting, like what the hell, like you're filming
yeah,
yourself looking for movies, yada yada, and just everyone would say it's a wasted time, and then like
yeah,
there's a lyric in the song where he says, if we left a good life behind, then I'm grateful for all of our wasted time. So it's like John from Wasting Money 1 singing that, like, but collectively, like he's talking like to us or about us, like, then I'm grateful for all of our wasted time, and like, and then it's like, for people who don't know, I mean, like, I was kind of on the fence about like the very end of the montage, like one literally having his ghost. Did you catch that? Like
I
his
was
his
wondering if it was like you put a filter and some random dude was just walking by.
no, no, like the idea is, I don't know. It's kind of, I was really on the fence with doing that. Like obviously because for the longest time it was just us walking out of frame in one shot, like of the Best Buy of us walking away, the final shot of that montage, Josh and I. But I do two big things that like I would imagine like would take people out of it and would probably will take people out of it. But I don't know. It's like him. It's like his ghost walking away from the Best Buy with us. Like from the first movie, because I
Yeah,
still had the 4K footage from those sequences in case I wanted to use them for the next one, and I did use some of them, like for the intro, like that. That's the 4K shot from the first one of John talking to me, and then that for that, I used, but and then also like literally showing him singing, like that. I would imagine people would be like, "What the hell?" Like it
yeah,
just, which I mean, like honestly, I feel like it kind of does, like both those things kind of
yeah.
it would take people out, but at the same time, I
Well, now that you put
but
that into my perspective, I'm kind of thinking if you're showing him with that split second of him singing, and with the song, maybe it's like showing him that he left that
it's
life behind and decided to do something else.
well yeah, it's funny because I didn't think of it exactly like that, but yeah, it's like now he's into music, and then but then like really the point of that was to like show everybody that that's him singing, because I would imagine like maybe even if people who are huge fans of Wasting Money one like wouldn't know that that's John singing. It's like I wanted some sort of strong indication that like that's John. So then
Yeah,
like if people don't know that that's John, then at the very end they're like, oh, now I get it, and then they think about the scene in that silent moment, like, okay, I get it, that's pretty cool, or something like that. I don't know,
yeah.
but anyway.
Well, it is a really good sequence, and I did like the song. Actually, when I first started hearing the lyrics, and I'm like, "Ooh, this would see something that would be on my playlist because it's very early. It's very like late 2000s, early 2010s style of pop punk." And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, this is what I listened to in middle school and high school. So I'm like, I'm glad we're talking tonight because I was gonna, and I'm glad you sent me the soundtrack playlist because like when we were like when we first started calling, you sent it to me. I literally went digging for it because I wanted it.
Yeah, it's a really good song. I really like it. And then, yeah, I just I love John's music. He's a really good singer and really
Yeah,
good
I didn't even know he could sing.
artist. Yeah, he's a damn good singer. I saw him live once actually, and I took some pictures for him.
Was
But
that scene in the movie,
uh
or was that a different band?
no, that was you know what's funny? That was actually right, like those guys actually had me take their pictures right after John. So that was the same night, but I didn't use any of John's pictures in that little thing.
Oh.
But it's interesting. So that was the same night I did that. But yeah, yeah. I wish Sean would do more music because like he's really good.
Yeah, I did see. I did want to ask you a question about the flick pick scenes that you filmed with him.
Well, really seen. There's only one.
Well, yeah, but that scene was that shot the same day you guys did that Blu-ray hunting video.
Yeah, that was in the Blu-ray hunting video,
Oh,
and
it was. I didn't even see.
well,
Oh,
no, sorry, no, no, it wasn't in the video, but like that was when we were filming that video. I feel like it's pretty obvious because like but I it's funny because like I just said that and then like he thought that I was dead serious. Like he literally thought that I was like
that.
actually that stupid and that like and he thought I'm like no, I'm not like serious, like
Did you explain to him afterwards?
yeah, I explained to him afterwards I wasn't and he's like, "Oh, I thought you were I'm like no, but like it's so perfect because like John's reaction is so like real. Like
Yeah,
he just can't believe that I'm that stupid and that like he thought I was legitimately seriously asking if I could live with
I
them.
thought it was funny when he's like, if I had a second room, I'd consider.
Consider it. And
At least he was nice enough to say I'd consider it. Everybody else just kind of laughed at you, and you're like, "Oh, you're serious?"
I know. It's just like the idea is just that I'm just so stupid that like it's like that yeah, it's
I
I,
liked it when you.
I like that. I
Yeah,
think that part
I,
of it's funny.
I like it when cause, oh, by the way, everybody listening, we're not really into spoilers yet, so don't worry. These are just like moments that happen within like the first half hour, 45
Yeah,
minutes.
yeah, like stuff like what we're talking about isn't like that bad, Like
Yeah,
I would consider mostly everything in like the last hour to be spoiled. It's like
yeah.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah, this is fine. What were
there
you gonna say?
Oh, the scene where you show up to after you call like from the parking lot, you call Matt and you're like,
Yeah,
"I'm gonna come live with you," and he's like, "I'm going to work, but okay." And you show up to Nashville and knock on his apartment door in the middle
and,
of a thunderstorm. He's like, "You can stay the night."
and just I love Matt's face. Like when he first opens the door, his face is so funny because he's just like, "What? You actually came?" Like it just and like the idea is that like if it's supposed to happen like right after the flick pick thing, like and so like the idea would be that I went from Fort Wayne all the way to Nashville in the same day or like the same or like this like in one day, it's just
Yeah,
like his face was so funny
yeah.
and yeah.
I yeah, I thought that was pretty good. I liked. He's like, "Well, you can stay the night, but you can't live here." I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah,
Um,
and I love Matthew. Like Matthew Brando is one of my best friends, and he's a great guy, great person. He's one of the coolest dudes I know, and yeah, he was in the first one, and then I'm really happy that I was that he's in two scenes basically,
yeah,
and like he's that he done a little more for this one, and I really love the conclusion I did with him, like the conclusion to I mean, I almost said to his arc. Like he doesn't really have an arc. Like it's like,
yeah,
but like I thought the conclusion to his story, like I really fit with like because it all started with Stuckman and all that, and like kind of
yeah,
tying back to that, and then I had like for the whole time I actually had oh yeah, by the way, just thinking now, like just about like that scene where we're at the the hockey rink thing or whatever it is, like
yeah.
that was a lot longer. There was so much dialogue
I
cut from
could
that
tell it
scene.
was like chopped up, like bad, like a
Yeah,
lot.
I know. And then like that's the other thing that I forgot to say earlier. I could have just said it and saved like a minute and a half, but
That's
like
fine.
it just feels like I feel like a lot of the movie feels super choppy. When before it didn't feel anywhere near as choppy because like I let scenes breathe a lot more. But I thought no, it's got to move, da 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 da. People's ADHD brains, and plus also to like save more time with the movie. And like but like that scene, there was a lot more dialogue around Stuckman and around like filmmaking. It's like that scene, there's probably like 10 minutes of stuff I'd include in the deleted scenes. But there, for the longest time, there was a montage right before the montage of myself and Matthew, and which is another thing I like about the movie, of like with the exception of Josh, which with everybody except Josh, pretty much, like or like most of the main people, like the last time you ever see them, it's like a montage of their whole like their whole story, and then it's like that's how you know that you're never gonna see them again. And it's like that's it, and
Yeah.
like with the exception of Josh. But like there was the remix of how I ruled the this is how I ruled the world, I used in that scene. But then I have the actual version of it, for the montage with me. But right before the montage with me, there was a montage of Matthew and Chris from all their videos they did, and I've loved that little sequence. It was like about a minute long, but then I cut it down to 45 seconds, and then I thought, but then like ultimately it was one of the last things I cut, because then I thought, like, realistically, like, well, why, like what's this doing here, what's the point? And I felt like, well, it's like I was trying to think of reasons to keep it in. But no, like it was the idea of like that cuz the scene was about Chris, and then it's like um never mind. But like that was one of the last things to go. And then it's like it was cool and I thought it fit, but at the same time it's like realistically what's the point?
Right.
And it's like there was a lot of that as well. If I couldn't, basically, with the movie, if I couldn't justify like in words why a certain scene was there, like what does it do for the story, or like what's the reason for this being here? If I couldn't come up with a good enough reason or a legitimate reason, then I cut it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. I always remember in the first one, um, where you guys went and hung out with Matt, and you're on the and then on the assumption that you were gonna go hang out with Chris as
yeah.
well. Was there ever like now I have to ask. You can always tell me later to edit this out because I didn't ask you beforehand if this was okay. Did you ever reach out to Chris to see if he wanted to be a part of this or?
You know what's funny? I reached out to him with the first one to see if he would shoot a small clip. And I honestly forgot what it was because it was so long ago, but he said he didn't have time to dedicate to anything, but he wished me luck with the movie, and like, I wish you the best or something. And then I'm like, oh, okay. Which, I'm
Yeah.
sure I'm sure he wasn't lying. He was,
Well,
like,
he was
he
also a
was,
brand new father at the time.
yep. And also, trying to get Shelby Oaks off the ground and stuff like that. And it's
Yeah.
like, when you're making a movie, it takes up all your
Th-
time.
This is gonna be a hot take because Shelby Oaks will already be out at this time of this by the time this comes out. But I honestly think that movie's gonna suck.
Well,
There's a reason
I don't know
they
about that,
well,
but
I don't know if it'll suck, but it makes me wonder if the cut beforehand wasn't watchable because they went and did reshoots in March of this year, like literally months before, like 7 months before it's coming out, and they had to re-edit the film. So it makes me wonder if the first cut was unwatchable.
well, okay, so this is my theory. Again, I don't know, like, I don't even know a lot. Like, I basically just know what you just told me. So it's like
It just
I'm
makes me wonder.
I couldn't agree more. Like, I'm just saying this with from the perspective of not having like a lot of knowledge about what really happened, but like I think that it was probably the kind of thing to where, cuz the first when Chris made it on his own, it was a budget of $1 million, and it's in terms of like legitimate like studio filmmaking, that's like not that's like a extremely low amount of
They're
money
gonna
like
make it
for
back in a minute.
no, yeah, but I'm saying like for a movie like this that I mean yes it's found footage but then also it's half found footage half narrative which
Yeah,
is pretty cool, and I really like that
I
aspect
do
of
like
it.
that
But
too.
I think that it's the kind of thing to where Neon and Mike Flanagan look at it and then they're like, okay, this is like good, this is like cute, but like this could be a lot better, and so then they just like did reshoots to like
And they
make
added a character
to
too.
to to tweak things and like make it like better for something that would be like maybe decent for like a streaming service or like a lower rent kind of thing like that, but not like up to par for a major studio release in theaters everywhere, like Neon. Really, what I mean. And so
Yeah.
it's like, and so like they did things to like make it more of a bigger
Yeah.
thing. But I'm sorry, what did you say a second ago?
Oh, they also went and added a character when they were doing reshoots.
I had no idea. Do you know what character that was?
Well, I don't know the character's name, but they casted Derek Mears, who was the remake Jason in Friday 13th 2009.
Okay.
That's who they that's who they added him in when they did reshoots now and re-edits. But here's my thing: I don't think the movie will suck, but when Mike Flanagan, this is my personal opinion, nothing against Chris, because I know how hard it is to get a movie made and everything like that. He probably took the deal because when Mike Flanagan got involved, I think Chris's original, because there's two composers that are listed on the IMDb, but I think when because they got Mike Flanagan's normal people like the Newton brothers, I think they're called, at least is what it says on IMDb. They were attached to compose the music, so it makes me wonder if this guy named James Burkholder is even going to have any of his original score in the film, or maybe it was a collaborative effort. Not much is really known on the behind the scenes things. Again, if I probably donated to the Kickstarter, I probably would have gotten all this information, but again, I'm just really happy that Neon also acquired it because I love that company. I think they're better than I love them. They kind of remind me of like a lower budget A24,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's a really good production company. And honestly, I am still interested to watch it, and I wish Chris all the best with it, and I hope it brings him more directorial debut, like more opportunities,
Yes.
because he has. After hearing about his life personally and everything, I just wish him. I mean, I feel bad to saying this as well. I've literally not watched a Chris Stuckman video before, like ever. Like I haven't kept up with his content, but I did see his his his
Madam
videos.
Web video?
No, I didn't watch that.
Good.
But all I heard was that he was it was like I'm not reviewing the movie, but I am reviewing the movie kind of thing. That's how I was told is what it was. No, the last video I remember watching was his video, like before the Shelby Oaks announcement. I watched his Jehovah's Witness video, and then
Oh yeah, it's great. It's a great video.
yeah, and then I saw his video talking about Shelby Oaks, and then I was really happy for him, and I thought about donating to the Kickstarter, but I was going through a financial situation at the time, and I didn't really want to risk put. Even though he met his goal within a not that long, but I didn't want to risk putting money because it also wasn't an all or nothing campaign. If it didn't make its budget, they still charged you over what you donated. So I didn't want to donate to it just in case.
Hmm.
But I'm happy that I'm happy that they were able to make the movie, and I wish him all the best with it, and I hope I watch it. Watch, I'm gonna all when this interview comes out, when this podcast comes out, the movie's gonna already be out, and then I'm gonna eat these words. I mean, it's
Yeah.
got an 80% on Rotten Tomatoes, but that don't mean shit, really.
Yeah, I mean, I
Do you think he'll review his own movie?
no.
How crazy
I
would
mean,
that be?
that would be
He might do it as an April. If it was Old Stuckman, it would be an April Fool's Day video.
I'm thinking of reviewing my own movie, but I'll just like say everything. I mean, I did do that with the first one on Letterbox, like just as a joke, but I just like just shit talked it like crazy. But no, like I would do it with just like just like talking about like all the negative aspects of it. Or no, that'd be a dumb idea. No, I'm just kidding. But no, if he did that, like that would be he wouldn't do that, no. But like if he did, it would be like a joke.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like I feel like the movie will be good, but I think the movie's gonna be good, but probably not great. Like I don't think it's gonna be a masterpiece, but I think that no matter what, I like people are very critical with Chris, and they always have been. You know, like he just has, you know, I mean, like it's just the same with any like I guess content creator that makes something that that you're supposed to take seriously, like or
Yeah.
like even just a little bit, like for instance Shelby Oaks, like or not Shelby Oaks, Notes from Melanie. If you look at the comments on that short film, like all the comments are just picking apart every little detail of like, oh, the color tones are off. This is stupid. The camera's shaky at this part. I saw a shadow here. Da da da. It's like, what the color looks fine, like what
Right.
the fuck are you talking about, like it doesn't. I don't know, like people are very hard on Chris, so I know he's gonna get a lot of that with it, like picking apart every little detail, like every little thing about it that's even remotely subpar. And so like that, and so I feel like he's gonna get a lot of criticism that is gonna be like unfair, in my opinion. Like I like it's you know that's just gonna happen because he's a YouTuber and he's a very famous YouTuber and he already has that kind of a lot of people have that attitude towards him. But I mean, I also, yeah, but we haven't seen it yet, and we don't know exactly what the overall audience reception is going to be. So we'll have to wait and see. I'm excited for it though.
Yeah, I'm excited too. I mean, I'm not gonna be like, oh, like I'm really, really looking very forward to it. I think it'll be pretty good. It looks good. I will say that. I'm really, really looking very forward to Black Phone too. If I'm being honest with you, that's the only horror film like I'm looking forward to, except for Bone Lake.
Hmm. Yeah, I Ethan Hawke's one of my favorite actors, and it's funny because I didn't love the first Black Phone. I thought it was good, and I really like that. I love the fact that really love the fact that just in general that Ethan Hawke is like now an iconic like horror character. And I
Yeah.
think that's really dope and really happy for him, and so but yeah, the first Black Phone, like I thought it was good. I didn't love it, but I will rewatch it before the second one. And the second one, it looks like it's gonna be very different from the first one, because yeah, like it looks like it's gonna be different. And so, but I love Sinister way more. In my opinion, Sinister is way better than the Black Phone. That might be my favorite horror film of the 2010s decade. I adore Sinister.
I
Not
think.
Sinister 2 though. That movie sucks.
Yeah. The only thing I liked about that was that James Ransom came back.
Yes, I agree because he's good in everything.
Yeah, he's from Baltimore.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah, yeah, I think he's a really good actor. I loved him in It Chapter 2. I didn't think I would really like him in that, but I actually really did.
Yeah, he's
I
good.
think he's good in
No.
almost everything I've seen him in. I think he was in one of the VHS movies recently, but I'll be honest with you, I didn't really care for the first in that series, and I just never watched the rest of them. But everyone keeps telling me that they're so good now because Shutter took over, and I'm like, I always wasn't impressed with the whole series.
Yeah, I mean, if it's not your thing, it's not your thing. I remember, I remember when the first one came out, and like I had no, I did not think that it would, you know, turn into such a big franchise. But with the first one, I remember when I saw it in 2012, not really liking it because there was I thought the story could have been better with like tying them all together, but I didn't really understand the grand concept of what it was, you know? Like it's not supposed to all be you're not supposed to take it seriously. It's just all a bunch of like fantasy horror, shorts, and then
Mm,
just like and then what's stitching them all together doesn't matter, It's just it's horror shorts made by really good filmmakers and it's just that's all it is, which like it's good for what it is in my opinion, but I never saw any of them past two.
yeah,
Um,
I know they're all on. I think I don't know if they're all on Shutter, but the ones that Shutter's been making are on their thing.
yeah, there's like 8 of them now. I can't believe it. But I mean like I
They're
don't
probably cheap to make too.
oh yeah, really cheap. I could imagine. I mean, some of them you can tell have a decent sized budget cuz some of them are like have really big set pieces, but overall like yeah, I'm sure they are super cheap to make.
Yeah,
Like
my
all most found footage is, unless it's something like unless something like Chronicle or some shit.
Project X.
Yeah, or Project Almanac. I was gonna say.
Oh, that one too. I love Chronicle. I, f-
Yeah, I do too. I love that one. And yeah,
I feel bad for that director.
me too. I mean,
He got screwed.
he could have had a big career if he didn't try to do that Fant Four stick.
Yeah, I like how he even said, "This isn't my movie. Don't watch it."
Yeah,
At least he had the guts to say it. Most people would just be like, "Yeah, I know it sucked."
but apparently, he was being weird and like being an asshole, like apart from all the studio bullshit him and the movie itself went through. So it's like it wasn't all like it was he yeah like it was he's in the wrong with quite a bit as well. So it's like it's not
I
yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah, I didn't like the new Fantastic Four movie.
I didn't see it. I might see it eventually, but
I think I'm just done with all the superhero stuff.
I'm not done. But I just don't watch much. I don't really give a shit these days unless it's something to do with Spider-Man or like I'll see the Avengers movies when they come out. But
Yeah, I'll watch the new Spider-Man movie next year. I'm excited because John Bernthal's coming back as the Punisher in it.
well, that's pretty cool. Um,
Yeah. Oh my.
that's interesting for sure. But like I just in my opinion, I don't think that they'll ever just like with what Tarantino said about the Toy Story movies, like with you ended the story as brilliantly as you could, and it's like I don't have any desire to it's not like I don't have any desire to see any more Spider-Man, but it's like they can never come close to No Way Home. It's like that's one of the best movies I've ever seen. I mean, like, which I admit I'm biased because I adore the Maguire trilogy, but that was just I've never been more happy in my life watching a movie, especially that first time. It's like there's that question, like if you were to erase your memory of watching a certain movie for the first time, that is one of the ones at the top of the list for sure
Yeah,
for me.
I think all the three actors that have played Spider-Man are all good and are really good. I know a lot of people don't like Andrew Garfield. I don't think he's that bad. I think he's pretty. He's that version of Peter Parker, and I think
I
he plays
think
him well.
Yeah, I think he is great as Spider-Man, but it's just the movies themselves weren't very good. I mean, like, yeah, I think that's the best way to put it, in my
Yeah,
opinion,
we got way
at
off
least.
topic.
Yeah, it's like
Sorry.
it's all right,
I mean, like,
it's
cool.
just I mean, it's real it's a flowing conversation, It's like
Yeah,
it's not it's just I don't know. I feel like people might like this, but like
yeah,
apart from if they like just want to hear about the movie, like the movie stuff. Like if this was like a real interview for like a real movie for like whatever Shelby Oaks or some like legit movie that's coming out in theaters, and we were doing this, people would be like, "The fuck," like if you're
different.
like veering off, but it's not
Yeah,
it's cool. It's cool, It adds more to the conversation rather than just my bullshit, which I like it.
yeah. Going into oh man, now I have to ask about the casino. What was it like
Yes.
filming inside of a casino? Did anybody try to stop you from filming, or did they not care?
Well, apparently you're not supposed to film in a casino, which like which I knew that, which again, like just I none of that was I swear to God, none of that was set up. All that stuff with Josh was all just actually the way it was, and like I'm not shitting you. Like it was like like none of that was set up, It's like some things in the movie are like set up, but it's like that was just completely like yeah, anyway, but with with that, like I filmed that scene on my phone, which like most of the movie is shot like with my Lumix GH5, and then some of it with my brand new GH7. But I really wish I would have had the GH7 the entire time I was filming it, because it looks so much better than the GH5, and I was so pissed. I'm just like, damn it, why didn't I have this the whole time? But there are some shots that are shot with like there's quite a well, I mean, I wouldn't say quite a bit, but like there's like there's never any scenes. There's not one like actual scene that's filmed with the iPhone except for that scene. With actually no, the stuff with the bike riding with Mason, most of that was shot on the iPhone. Like all the handheld stuff, like when I'm actually on the bike filming, apart from when we were with Uncle John, like in the woods, all that was like with my iPhone with cinematic mode, which I feel it's funny because that sequence I think looks good and terrible at the same time.
Right.
But and I thought that it would look a lot better after I downloaded it, like the movie officially, but it didn't. It did. I mean, well, it looked slightly better, of course, but it didn't look as good as I thought it would afterwards. But like that was shot on the iPhone, as well as the casino scene was shot on my iPhone, because I couldn't shoot with my camera there because you're not supposed to. And so like I thought, okay, I'll just film with the phone, and so you know yeah, like I just did it, and I tried to do it in secret for the most part. Although like it was pretty obvious at certain points what I was doing. But yeah, it was fun, and again, that's another scene, which is funny. You know what's that is I've never realized that until just now. The two scenes in the movie that are fully shot on the iPhone, I feel like look good and terrible at the same time. Like but like with the I love the look of the casino scene because it's so like bright and vibrant, but like to
Yeah.
an insane degree. And like with both of those, I really did a lot of experimenting with the color and trying to figure out like and like I figured something out that like I did something with the clips that is like I forgot exactly what it was because those have been color graded for so long, but it's something that never mind. Sorry.
No, you're good.
That I
Yeah,
wouldn't have that I wouldn't have discovered if I hadn't have dug so deep, to try to figure out the look of them. But
yeah,
anyway,
yeah. What was it like filming the bike ride scene and all that?
that was cool. Like we went for Mason and I, yeah, like went on the bike ride, and then like, yeah, I mean, it's just simple, like I was just filming him with my phone, like while riding, and then I set up the camera. It's, I mean, like there's not much to say, but except that I took one bottle of water, then that was gone like super fast because it was so hot. And then I wanted, and the footage exists actually, when I'm like, "Can I please have some of your water?" He's like, Mason was like, "Hell no!" I'm like, "Fuck you, why not?" And he's like, "I told you before we left to bring 5 waters. I told you were gonna need them because it was like 80, not 90 degrees. We're sweating like crazy." And then I'm like, "Well, you should have told me about that I would." He's like, "It's hotter than hell. I thought it would be obvious," or something like that. And so, like, and he said, "No, these are mine. Sorry, that was your fault." I'm like, "Okay." But no, yeah, like again with that scene was a lot shorter. Like the dialogue scene with us. It's like I wanted it to be longer for sure because, it's like all that, like we're bike riding, and then it's all this build it's like all this build up to this dialogue scene. But then that scene was just so short, and then it just immediately cuts to the Ben stuff. But the reason why I cut that one as short as I did, which I did, I legitimately wanted it to be longer. Like I wish there was a little bit more dialogue in that scene, but it was about the heart stuff, to kind of set up the like something that happens later, you know, and but like we also in that scene talked about a lot of other stuff. Like we talked about filmmaking and writing, and you know, I just felt like that scene, like a lot of times, like we like would talk about multiple topics in scenes rather than just one single one. And then with a lot of those, I just made it singularly about one topic rather than multiple with most of the scenes um, because it's like, oh, what's the point in getting into this? It's just like talking about it for the sake of talking about it rather than there being a purpose, which with the blood pressure stuff and, the health and things like that. I really wish we had more dialogue around that, but I didn't. Like that was all we had about it. And then like there was some stuff that Mason made me cut, which was really funny about like or I don't he probably wouldn't even want me to say on here, which I don't think it's that bad, but just about like how it was like an extension of like what he was talking about, but he's like, well, your lungs are better than fuck it. I'll just say he's like, yeah, you are fat, you're fatter than me, obviously, and unhealthy in that sense. He's like, but your lungs are better than mine, and he listed some more things, because
Yeah,
you know whatever. But yeah,
yeah. What has been yeah, I like the I really like a lot of the dialogue between you and Mason. It's just really, really funny sometimes. And you and John, I love your. He's probably my favorite character in that movie. He's like, don't eat my Twinkies, don't eat all my Oreos. And then when he's talking about your dad kicking you out, because I guess we could talk a little bit about that. I just thought that scene was pretty good. And then he's like, well, I'd kick you out too if you were freeloading. And
oh,
I'm like, damn.
yeah, just all like this whole movie was improv. And
Yeah.
it's just, and then like also in that scene specifically, and also the other thing is like with a movie with because like I want to shoot things more like handheld Matt Johnson style,
Yeah.
which like I mean, some scenes where I'm filming, is handheld and like that kind of thing, but like um The movie was pretty much shot exactly the same way, to where it's shot reverse shot, both cameras in the same place. It's like the idea is that look and like the idea of how it's shot gets, I would, gets very repetitive. And so like the idea is like if it's like I'm not. This is meant to be like the idea is that it's if the bad elements of the way it's made about like if someone were to watch this as an actual legit movie and take it super seriously, like they would just say it's terrible, yada yada. It's like, oh no, it's not a movie, but it's like, yeah, but the point is that like it's technically found footage,
Yeah.
because it's like the everyone like what you know obviously, you know I know it's not good, but in terms of like people that say things like that, like about it not being cinematic, not being a movie, and things like that, it's the kind of thing to where like it's technically found footage, and it's like this is made by like somebody, because me, the main character, like it's like I'm the idea is just that like it communicated in the first like opening narration with me, and it's just so clear like with my character that I'm just so stupid, and that like I'm just so stupid, and like I just think that I'm creating something good and something that's gonna monumental, that's gonna stand the test of fucking time. And I just think I'm just this that I came up with the best idea, of in cinema, and that like I'm gonna change cinema. And it's like the idea is I think all these things, but I'm so stupid, and so like you know ultimately at a certain point, crazy, to the point to where like I'm so stupid I think this could actually work. But like in my opinion, the presentation, I'm not saying all the presentation works, because there's a lot that I could have done to make it look better and sound better, and like there's a lot of fuck ups even considering what I just said. But at the same time, I feel like it's like I would say, oh, so is The Dirties by Matt Johnson a movie? It's like, oh, like so then you must say that's not a movie, or oh, you must say that this, these other movies aren't really movies. That, you know what I mean? It's just like, that's the only like criticism with it, to where it's like, no, it's a movie. It's a narrative, but it's not. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Like the presentation. No, the amateur presentation is justified in like with my character, and like the specific story that I'm telling. Like if the same exact presentation was in like a legitimate narrative film, it would be 100% inept. Like if there is no reason for this other than, oh, just cheap filmmaking, it would be, I don't know about inept, but it would be like just very, it would be garbage basically, but it's like if you have yeah, it's like you got to have narrative reasons for your presentation being subpar, at least in this sense. But no, but basically with what I was saying before I went on that whole tirade was that um a lot of it's shot the same way, because I don't have cinematographers. It's me doing everything. Like I did literally everything with this whole damn thing. I edited literally all of it. It's like it's like it's all me, 100% just me. It's my thing. And it's like no one telling me what to do. No one, you know, uh, it's like I am, okay, but the idea is that like the whole movie, most of the movie, or a lot of it, at least like the full scenes, like dialogue scenes, like a lot, most of the movie is shot the same way, shot reverse shot, like cameras, like one static shot of you know the two people talking, like a Judd Apatow movie. But it's like a lot of times I tried to do that, but shoot it in a creative way, like the scene with Uncle John that you just mentioned about how like the camera was super high up, and then there was another shot that's like a close up that's cutting back and forth. It's like if it is gonna be, I thought like okay, like if it is gonna be shot like pretty much the same way the whole time, because I don't have any way to not do this unless I like hold one of the, because it's just um you know what I mean? Uh, it's like shoot it in interest. I thought like, okay, well, if it's gonna be this way the whole time, I gotta shoot it in an interesting way. Like if I can, you know what I mean? If there's no way to, then I just try to make it look as interesting as I can, and then move on. And plus, also because a lot of it was like run and gun filmmaking, so I had to like really set up the cameras like real fast, or like a lot of times with the location there wasn't a way to do it in a unique way. So I was like, oh fuck it, let's, you know what I mean.
Yeah. Hey, give me 1 second. My computer just gave me a pop-up notification for this. Give me 1 quick second. I'm gonna pop this. I'm gonna make this. Don't worry. I'll splice this back together. Give me 1 quick second.
Wait, what happened?
Um. Well,
Did it
one.
stop recording?
No, 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 no. It's no. I'm just trying to figure out why it looking like it's buffering. Give me 1 second. Yeah, we can. Yeah, I'm gonna chop this down just so because it has been recording, so I'll just chop it down.
All right.
All right. So, before my computer had almost a meltdown, and we took a small little bereaver. But anyways, continuing on from like your uncle and everything like that, I also want to ask about like so getting so how did you have to like how did like digitizing all the old footage from when you were a kid, how was that a complicated thing for you to do, or was that already digitized?
That was already digitized, and there was a memory card, and I looked through all of the really old footage, and you know, I just got everything that I thought would be usable, and of course, at first there was a lot more clips I could have used, but it's like um it's like enough to where people, I feel, yeah, like people get the point. It's like that's the voice that popped in my head the most while editing. Because I, like a voice popped in my head with like, okay, people get the point. Like. It's like if the point's already established, it's like what's the point of like continuing on with it and just like doing it more and more and more and more if there's no purpose to it, but yeah, that, and then like the footage with the really old footage of Mason, that was from my old really old camcorder, and there's a deleted scene actually of something that I feel like people are really gonna like squint their eyes and kind of like turn their heads like what, like maybe like take people out of it like what the hell, like a shot from a completely different movie just like shows up, like literally just a full-on shot from a different movie like shows up. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Synecdoche, New York.
yeah,
Well, no, okay, so like that little scene was a lot longer. Like it was like I think like over 2 minutes longer, to where I have narration right before that, and then I close my eyes, and then but before the Birdman music starts, it shows like the idea is that I say that, oh, I wish I could, relive the last 10 years all over again. Like, I didn't think that everything would get so screwed up, and it's after, like, everything, is derailed, but, right before the climax starts. But it shows the first moment to where I pick up a camera in 2005. It like goes all the way back to the beginning, so it's just 2005, me like a really little kid playing with the camera for the first time, and it's like the first time I like, am holding a camera. It's like in Dahmer, like the very first time he, like is cutting open a fish, and you see the look in his eyes, and he's so fascinated. It's like that leads to obviously what happened in the future. And it was like that kind of moment to where like you saw like the fascination and interest in my eyes. But so it's like you see like me playing with the camera the first time, and I literally say, "I'm the director," and like I take the camera from this girl, and like and then it jumps 10 years later, and then it's like a shot of Dalton like right before we shot the first one on the old camcorder, same one that the old Mason footage was on. And then I say like it's audio I inserted, it wasn't really said there, like something like, "Oh, Dalton, we're gonna like let's start a channel," because he was one of the first or something like that. It wasn't that exactly, but it was more, and then he like he shakes my hand, and then so the 10 years after that, then 10 years after that, 2015 is when I started YouTube. And then 10 years later, now is, now, and so it's like 10 years later, 10 years later, and then now, and so, but then it gets into the Birdman stuff, and that was longer too. But I don't know. I thought that would have been interesting, but I thought that's too much. I don't know, but
Right.
but
Yeah.
yeah, I feel I'm gonna stop talking about the deleted scenes because I'm gonna release the deleted scenes anyway. So it's like
Yeah.
I feel like this is kind of unnecessary.
Oh, it's fine. It'll be in. It's definitely. It definitely. It adds to the. It adds to the meal that people are consuming right now.
Gotcha. Thanks.
But I wanted to ask about because you use a lot of different tracks for the soundtrack compared to. I know you did a lot for the first one, but you also had Bronson do music for the first one. Did you plan to have Bronson do anything for the second movie, or did he just not want to do that?
No, because the next one was uh I mean was basically supposed to be all him, like and which I'm not gonna get too far into it, but like it was basically supposed to be all him and Dalton. And so like he would have had like made music for that one like throughout the entire thing, you know. And so because I thought that I was going to get to do that next. Like no, at first I was going to be a part of this story, but then this story like expanded so much that, and then so like structurally it wouldn't make sense for well, actually no, it could have worked if there was less if the story was way less if there was way less to this story, I could have figured out a way to fit it in there, probably like through editing. But I had it in mind that he would do that, and then plus on top of that, I had no idea what the music would be because the movie's not. Bronson's in the movie like a little bit, but it's not about him. So like in a way that the first one was. If Bronson were to have had like a more meaningful role, to where he had more of an arc or whatever, I would have had him do something else similar to the first one. But no, no, I wasn't ever in the no.
Hmm. I not that it's a big not that this is also like because I'm not ready to get into the spoilers just yet, but there is a moment when you talk about Cyrus, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yep. Yeah, I said Cyrus. I hope he I hope you found a home.
Yeah,
Which like
because I know you all. I know you probably have you even seen Cyrus since like all those videos or nah?
before I deleted all the Eric and Paul videos, he was gonna be in the movie, but then he didn't like my idea for the story book like for the scene, but then he just left me on red and didn't end up shooting it. I mean, like if which if I didn't delete all those videos, the whole entire third act would have been 100% different.
Right.
Basically, but like I was gonna shoot something else with him, but no, I've you know I actually grew up with Cyrus. I hung out with him with Jake from the old Eric and Paul videos. Who's in the montage quite a few times, with and in the flashback footage and the end credits. But yeah, he was he's his cousin, and so like when we were really little kids, you know, I we used to hang out a lot, but then like after that, and we just did those two videos, and then that was it. And then I never saw him apart from those videos. Actually, no, that's I saw him one more time, and when we were filming the first one, Cyrus was gonna be in the first one with Eric, and I was obviously the Eric scene was in this one, and two was shot before I deleted all the videos, and so like again, there is shitloads, and I'm talking shitloads of dialogue cut from the Eric scene, and I really stripped that one down. But like there was a part in that to where we brought Cyrus up, and then we show the scene. Okay, so I shot a scene with Cyrus. It's not the best. It was for the first one, but it was on the memory card that I lost. Like there was a lot of footage that I lost, which I later edited into a prequel, or technically not a prequel, like a in between quel video thing called where I kind of rip off the title of Rogue One, a Star Wars story, and call it Wasting Money and an Alex Leyba story. It's like a prequel. Well, not really a prequel because it takes place during the events of the first one, and like the first day Mason comes, like basically like how the Leyba movie timeline works. Like you watch the first one, and the first like 5 minutes, or 10 minutes, like at a point, pause it and watch the Wasting Money like Alex Leyba story video, then watch the rest of the first movie, and then with the second one, when the Forest Hills scene starts, you pause it, watch the documentary Edward Furlong in the Forest Hills, and then continue watching the Leyba movie too, because it's like those two, like that other movie takes place in the timeline, of course, and like I used a lot of footage of Chico that wasn't in the documentary because it wouldn't have fit, because he's just talking about random philosophical stuff, and it didn't pertain to anything to do with like the anything in the documentary. But I thought, like that's good shit, and so like yeah, Chico doesn't even know he's in the movie, but I forgot where I was going with this. What was the okay? So, what was
The question was originally about Cyrus.
okay? Yeah, Cyrus. But no, the that Cyrus scene was on the memory card that I lost, and I it was going to be in that scene, but then of course that wouldn't make any sense because, now Cyrus is just erased with the other videos. And so it wouldn't, and so like there was no point to, but I thought, you know what, you know, I'm gonna still put it in the deleted scenes. It's not like a good scene on its own, but for people who really like remember Cyrus and remember that early era of Eric and Paul videos and Cyrus. And it's just funny because like he was talked about so much like in the lore of the channel, but he was only in two videos, technically three, because his voice was in one throughout all of it. One
Oh,
and
that's
it's
right. Because I think his first appearance wasn't it like you guys were at Walmart on Halloween or something like that, or around that.
no, 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 no. It wasn't Halloween. It was January 2017, and then we did one more in March 2017.
Where he was
2 months
actually
later.
in the video, right? Where he's at
What?
the.
Or no, no, no. He cameoed in the first Megan video very briefly, and then he did and then we did two videos, and then that was it. But then like so the Cyrus scene will be in the deleted scenes. Yeah.
Alright, yeah, because I always remember him, the very first video when you guys picked him up, and he was talking about how the last movie he saw, he was watching it for someone's window.
Yeah, I know. I love that. I don't know why. Like that was one of the most memorable parts. Just like the idea, thinking of that actually happening, like him being homeless, and then like I'm like, he's like, "Oh, I saw the Expendables 3." I'm like, how did because he's homeless. I'm like, how did that happen? You just watch it through somebody's window, and he's like, "Yes, that's how it happened." Like just the idea of him like looking through someone's windowsill watching.
I always, I remember watching because all the old not old videos, but like a lot of the watching all the videos back then. Like obviously, it's like they were as they were coming out. I just remember like I'm like these are just a bunch of people goofing off and having a good time, and I'm like I don't have friends like this, and then I'm like man, I don't want friends like this. They could get me kicked out of stores. Has that I don't know if you guys I don't well I know when you all did the reboot episode, you Mason and John didn't like Mason like put the camera up like very high up and Best Buy kicked you guys out.
Uh, that was in the Uncle John video. Oh yeah. Sorry, that's what you mean. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, they didn't kick us out. They just told us to stop filming.
Okay, yeah.
Which we haven't gotten kicked out. Really, I don't think we've like. I don't think we've gotten kicked out like very many times. Like really, like I don't think any times actually we've legitimately gotten kicked out, but we've gotten told we can't film anymore.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, 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 there you go. Like you can't film, yeah.
Was in the Dalton video where we got kicked out of the mall for asking if Paul Blart worked there, and like just that's one of my favorite videos.
And that got kicked out was that question, or was because you guys were filming?
Well, I mean, for both of like he said, I mean, like you remember that video or no?
I don't think I've watched that video.
Dude, that's a Dalton video. Like, you've seen okay, so
I might have watched it, but I don't remember it.
okay. Like we got kicked out of the mall. Okay, because like Dalton went up to a mall cop and he's like, does Paul Blart work here? Does he still work here or no? And the cop started laughing and he's like, he's off today. And then he turned around, saw me filming, and he's like, the camera, you can't take pictures of our officers, right? And then like he said, and then he says like, and then the cop was like, or then Dalton was like, "Oh, we're being asked to leave because I asked if Paul Blart worked here." And then he's like, "Oh, it's a considered security risk because if you come in with a camera and recording equipment asking about employees, we consider that a security risk." And the whole time, Dalton was so angry, like screaming, and it was just, I don't know. I thought it was like. I almost said Dalton that it's his funniest, but I don't know about that. But like it was just Dalton was just so funny because he was legitimately really pissed, but it was just for the funniest, dumbest reason ever. He was like, Paul Blart isn't even a real fucking person, and he's like, what do you mean? You know, he's like, your employees? That's motherfucking Kevin James, bud.
Yeah. I it kind of reminds me of that moment. I don't know if you've ever watched well, obviously you like the flip pick and all that, but I like John's per other channel where he just does like there was a
John
video.
fucking Jerry,
Yeah,
yeah.
there was one where him and Crazy Jason went into the mall and Crazy Jason had that tripod on his head. They were immediately kicked out of the mall.
Oh, I forgot about that. I remember they did vlogs together, but I didn't know that happened. What the
Yeah,
hell?
that was a 2017 video. They got them like little old.
The GoPros?
Well, it wasn't a GoPro. I don't know what he had. I think it might have just been his random cell phone connected. Like, you remember when them little mini spider tripods came out that looked really weird with the little spiny legs. You know, I'm talking about like the little old vlogging tripod you would see.
Yeah, I have one of those.
Yeah, so he put that on his hat, and him and Crazy Jason walked into the mall, and it cut to them getting kicked out.
Oh man. Damn, I'm gonna have to go back and watch that one.
yeah,
I forgot that they got kicked out. That's funny.
yeah. I remember. I like watching his videos. He's funny. But
Yeah, John, yeah,
John's great.
or both. I mean, but both of
I
them are
never really
good.
watched Crazy Jason stuff.
Well,
Uh,
he doesn't make content anymore. He used to like a really long time ago, but
yeah,
he doesn't these. I always remember him, and I thought it was interesting when they started doing content together and stuff because they lived by each other at that point. But
yeah,
yeah, I mean, Crazy Jason's cool. I mean, he just disappeared though, stopped doing content.
yeah.
Like
I like I do like John's content.
me
I
too.
see every time I see him pop up, I don't always get a chance to watch his live streams because he doesn't have a set schedule. It's always spontaneous, and sometimes it's not always at the greatest time for me. But I usually catch them after they air, and
Me too.
he's really funny. I like him. He's always been like a really. He's probably the most, besides you. I think he's been the most consistent YouTuber I've watched, other than the obvious like new movie trailer channels and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm like, yeah, John's always been super cool. And content. I've always liked watching his out of the theater reactions and how he'll be in his theater and he'll be like, "Now let me get out of here before I get kicked out."
Yep.
I wonder if he's ever been kicked out doing that.
Yeah, I don't know. Because like I remember, like when we saw Thunderbolts together, like how like we just went into a completely different auditorium, and then like we're like, okay, but it was kind of like, um, we were like kind of like being like you're making sure there's no workers around. Like, okay, let's go in this one and see if there's anyone in here, and then you're like, all right, cool, we can film in this one, and like that was cool. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
doing that.
I did see that video on the channel. I did like that. I was like, oh cool, and Alex Leyba John Flick Pick collaboration.
Yeah, and it's funny because I filmed a review for it, but then I never posted it, which was pretty stupid because like it would have been so easy to edit. It was just like a quick iPhone video, but I didn't post it, and it would have been 2 weeks before the movie came out. But I was so focused on getting my movie done that I just didn't really care. But now I'm looking back, like, why the fuck didn't I post that?
Yeah.
It's like I don't know,
Now
but
I know you had Eric Schiffler on your channel. He can't you interviewed him. He sat down in your room and you guys chatted. Was there ever a moment where you wanted to reach out to him for a cameo in this or no?
No, I didn't. I mean, obviously, I would have loved to, but no, that wasn't. I thought about it, but it's like I don't know what it would have been. It's like there's a lot of people that I would have wanted to be in this, but it's like for this story specifically, it's like what could it have been? It's like there's a few people that I wanted for sure, like specifically John, the flick pick, I really wanted for a couple different things he could have done, and but like he was too busy to do it, and and so like I really wanted him for a scene, but now it's just that one part with like where I ask him to live with him, and then his audio, like just a real quick audio clip like towards the end, and like so like him I really wanted and couldn't get. Like he's probably the biggest one like that I really wanted and couldn't get. If he was the movie definitely would have been 3 hours if I would have got him, because that scene would have probably been like six. It would have probably, with other things I would have added to it, because that scene would have been there, it probably would have added like 5.5, maybe 6 minutes to the movie. Probably, yeah, probably like 6 minutes or maybe a little bit more. And so at that point, basically, it would have been like an hour, 2 hours, 57 minutes from what it is now. And so then I would have just put a couple scenes back and stretched it out a little more to make it 3 hours. But now as it stands, it's 2 hours, 51 minutes, which like is still incredibly long. But like it's just funny because I'm just like, how the hell is it this long? when like all the scenes are so short and everything's stripped down to the bone. But I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, like it basically like there's a lot that I wanted to do with this movie, and then a lot that I couldn't do with this movie. But there's also a lot of things that obviously, I'm overall I'm satisfied with it, and like there's still a lot that I really like about it. Obviously, that I'm glad that it is in there. That I'm glad I got to do. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I like the whole you go from uh it's like, oh, Kevin, we're gonna go to the premiere of the Forest Hills at in Jersey with Kevin Smith's movie theater, and then like 2 seconds later, I'm kicked out of my house.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, that's a crazy narrative script.
Eh, well, hold on. Yeah, I put the 6 months later, right? Like
Yeah,
right
yeah,
when.
yeah. It was like right
Okay.
there, but
Okay. I forgot if I I forgot. Like you just made me think that maybe that title disappeared somehow. Like, oh shit, is that still there? Like,
yeah,
but
no, it's
but
there.
it's funny. And then yeah, the idea is like, yeah, that's obvious. He said, oh, in 6 months there's this. Then it says 6 months later, and then it was like, yeah, like right before we were going. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that was a pretty cool sequence. What was it like? Doing like, as obviously the Forest Hills was a big. What was that about 2? Was that 2 years of your life, or was it just 1 year off and on?
um. About a year. Well, I mean, technically, like it's been going on until the film is released, like with different things. But like, I mean, like, I don't know. Just what do you mean exactly?
Like, cause
With the
with
documentary,
well,
or
no, not with the documentary, cause we talk, cause in the movie you're talking about going to the premiere, cause I remember in the original short film version of this, you had gone to the Clerks 3. You had gone to a couple Clerks 3 screenings. That's how Kevin was introduced into your universe. And then this movie, you're now going because you're going to meet him again because of the Forest Hills. But, like, because that's how the short film version ended when you went to go work on the film. But from,
yeah,
like, in terms of real life, not this film itself, but in terms of real life, what
the
was
film is real life. What are you talking
no,
about?
yeah, yeah, okay,
I'm just kidding. I know what you mean. All right,
yeah,
continue.
like in terms of like how long like were you like? Because I know you were on set with Edward Furlong, and then you were brought back out for some Shelley Duvall stuff, but like in terms of like time it was in between like being on set with Furlong to that like
To Shelley. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, the timeline is actually exactly the way it is like in the movie. I mean, like the Shelley documentary, is gonna be completely like on its own, because obviously, like there's nothing in this that sets that up. There's nothing even in the Furlong documentary that sets it up. It's like completely gonna be its own thing, and not connected to my bullshit at all. But it was September 2022 that I was on the scene with the set with Edward Furlong. Then it was March 11th, 2023. 6 months later, it was the premiere, and then it was September. Actually, about a year later from the Furlong stuff in 2023, which is actually 2 years ago. Like a week ago or something from now was the Shelley Duvall stuff. Like when I we filmed at her house, and like that's a whole other thing I'll get into at some other point. But I have a lot of footage, and that's going to be my next project is the Shelley Duvall documentary. And then after that, I really want to get into like more narrative films, whether it's shorts or a feature, but I really want to to do something different that's like not connected to. I mean, realistically, I'd love to do both, like features not connected to my universe, and then I would have loved to, obviously, if things would have been different and if everybody was all in, Eric, Paul, and all that, if it would have been different, then I would have loved to continue, doing more movies and things. And I still would love to do three, so that it could be a legitimate trilogy, but like I just don't have Dalton's participation, so it's just not going to happen. But
Yeah.
I want to start doing like, more legit narrative features, after the documentary of after the Shelley documentary, after I'm done with that, which like I'm not entirely sure like what it's gonna be. I mean, obviously, I know like what all the footage I have is, and like I'm gonna edit. Basically, I'm gonna edit through that footage and then see what I have 100%, and then see like what I can do with it and what I can turn it into. But like the thing is that there's not much. There's some narrative through line, of course, like because I filmed like a lot of footage, like 8 hours. I have like tons of footage of Shelley, so like I'm definitely gonna turn into something. But overall, I feel like there's not much of a narrative through line. And I thought, well, I still have her husband's number, so maybe I could see if he would film more, or like film something with me when I go back to Texas to like visit Mason or whatever, or not Mason. Oh yeah, but never mind. But 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 like maybe I could film something more with him, then he could be the narrative through line, or I don't know. But I'm just gonna go through the edit through all the footage and see what I have, and then but that's gonna be my next project.
Yeah.
And but oh yeah, so yeah, like that's the timeline of when all that happened.
Yeah. I'll get back to the. I have one more question. I know because you're gonna be making a documentary and everything, but I have to know, just because I'm curious. How was it like just being like able to like be with like being able to talk to Shelly and hang out with like talk to her like like talking with her and everything. Like what like how was that like would you go
No.
back and relive that?
Oh yeah. I mean, like I'm gonna be talking a lot more about this like later on, but like,
Yeah. I imagine she was
she
a
is
very lovely person. She seemed like it in interviews back in the
n-
day.
no, she is legitimately like one of, if not the sweetest person I've ever met. Like I am not kidding. Like she is super super sweet, super caring. She cares about people. She's literally an angel. Like she is just so, just such a great person, and she's so intelligent as well, like she is, apparently in her old, in her old age, she like, reads a lot of books and things. And it's funny because like in the I didn't know what a word meant. I haven't looked at the footage in a while, and but she said something like, when I interviewed her, she said something like, I'm like, what does that mean? She's like, how old are you? And I'm like, 20, whatever, 25 or something. And she's like, you need a dictionary. She's, oh, you need a dictionary. But no, yeah, I mean, just, it's just that simple, she's just incredibly sweet. And it was just, because I'm not, honestly, like, even to this day, like, there's still tons of movies. I wouldn't shouldn't say tons, because there are, there's a lot of movies I haven't seen from her still, and so like I feel like, obviously I feel kind of bad in a way, because there's a lot of other people that are huge Shelley Duvall fans, that are, her body of work inside and out, that would have preferred, to have the experience that I did. I got like a rare extremely rare experience, to like hang out with her and, be with her and, see her work, because she was such a one of the biggest actresses of the 70s and 80s, and it's like I was trying to take in the experience as much as I could. I mean, obviously I was fucking filming everything, and it's like like with like with my friends would be like, "Oh no, you didn't take everything in because you were fucking filming it the whole time," but but like no, I really tried to soak up everything, and like I understood that it was something to really appreciate, and I
Yeah.
tried to appreciate it as much as I could, and but I mean, uh, um, but yeah, then also it was just profound in a lot of ways. Like I said, seeing her work and you know uh, with seeing her act, it's like she's still got it. Like you can tell, like she hasn't acted in 20 years, and but you could tell that she still like knows how to do it, and she did really good in her scenes, and then like there was like a couple deleted scenes that like like her face, like I could just tell that, like I just really got the sense that, like, even if I didn't know who she was, I would still, if I was watching this being filmed, I would still think like this is a expert actor. This is an actor, like somebody like Tilda Swinton or Jake Gyllenhaal, or like someone who really like is amazing at their craft. It's like you can just tell, you could see it in the way she worked, see it in her face. She still got it, and then she said that she would have, and just like I asked her like what she would want. She said she wanted to make more movies and continue, and it's like I just like kind of want to. I mean, like, when I really think like deeply about this, like I just get a little emotional because, like, she wanted to make more movies. She's like, oh, I'd love to do comedy, more. She wanted to do like so much more. She was telling me, and then obviously she passed away, but it was also especially profound because I filmed my first movie scene or shot, because like I was in the movie for like 3 frames, maybe 4, like a super quick shot of me of Chico strangling me, and that was such a bizarre moment for me because I had lived with this film for about a year, and I had edited that whole documentary about and just like watched through so much, and then like I thought the movie was done like for the longest time. Okay, that's it, and then I literally find myself, obviously briefly, but it's like I literally found myself like in the film's universe at the end of the whole thing, with Shelley. I found myself in the film's universe with Chico, that character killing me. Like in that film's universe, like him strangling me with both of us covered in blood, 100% blood all over my body, all over my face, him strangling me. And then it was just such a, like, it was cool, but like it was just such like a bizarre moment to, like, after all this and like after making the documentary, and like it was cool, but it was like bizarre, like that character killing me like in the film's universe, you know what I mean? And so like it was just yeah. But then, right after we shot that, we they cleaned me off. And then right after we shot my first movie scene ever, we went inside and filmed, which you know, Shelley's final movie scene she will have ever filmed, which he didn't use any of in the final cut, but I shot her filming her final scene. And so like it was just so profound, like where Shelley's lived for so many years. Like we shot my first movie scene, then we go in to shoot her last. It's just like
Mm.
that on itself is just so profound to me. And then, like there was just seeing where she lived and her, her birds and everything, and she loved animals, and she just was, again, just the sweetest person. And I'm kind of repeating myself at this point, but I'm trying to think of more specifics, but I can't think of too many right now. But like once I go through the footage, I'll be able to
Yeah.
you know to recount more memories and stuff. But yeah, sorry, I was a little long.
No, you're fine. I had to ask because I was always like, because I know we talked a little bit about it before, but never really as in depth as it was just now. I just remember because I
Mm-hmm.
remember hearing about it, and I wonder if had 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 she had had she still probably be alive. I wonder if she would have used the Forest Hills maybe as like a launch pad to try and go back to doing something. I kind of wonder if she was gonna do that because
Well,
it's
I
a
don't. Well,
miracle to get her out of retirement to even do it. Because I know she didn't act for a really long time.
yeah, I don't know about a launch pad, but
Maybe something maybe
yeah, I
like
mean,
help kickstart maybe like a cameo kind of thing.
I know what you mean. Like I felt like that definitely I guess I mean, she's obviously always loved acting, even like before, like like but like I feel like this definitely like reinvigorated, or not really reinvigorated, but just like really reminded her like how much she loved acting. And I feel like it kind of like took her back to the days of, working on those older films that like maybe she thought like, like made her think, man, I do really love acting, and it's like
Yeah,
I just but like with the interview, I I feel like I could have done a lot better with that. I mean, I really tried to research and make the interview really good, but I did a long interview with her before we filmed, and that um I got some good stuff of Shelley for sure, but I really like uh I could have done a lot better, like one with the questions themselves. And like I did research and I really did try specifically with The Shining to try to like delve deep, and maybe she'll say something about The Shining that maybe a lot and like nobody knew, like one of the mysteries people were wondering about. It's like I really tried to do that, but I couldn't think of anything because like I love The Shining, but I'm not like the most super fan of it to where I know everything about it. You know what I mean?
right.
It's like it's like I'm above a casual fan, but it's not like you know what I mean. But I feel like I failed, not 100% because again I did get some good stuff with that first interview, but I feel like I could have done so much better with the questions, but then also with time management. With it, I did a terrible job with like steering because like I'm not going to get too far into this because it might even it's probably even disrespectful to say at all in any way, shape, or form. But she had some sort of she had a form of dementia where she would kind of go in and out of it's kind of hard to explain if you're not there experiencing it, but there would be times where she would start talking about like something that's just so random and off the wall, and I'm like, okay, I said interesting so many times 'cause I had no idea what to say to like respond. I'm like, really interesting, and then that was kind of hard to navigate, but like it wasn't it was basically because I had poor time management and like I never mind. Well, I'll talk more about this when
Yeah,
when I get to releasing it.
yeah. I imagine it's There's
You can cut a lot of this shit out,
I'm
honestly. I
I'm
mean,
fine
like,
with
I'm
it.
saying, like, because, like, I ramble a lot and,
You're
like,
fine. I do
you know,
too. So I know like when
y-
you were talking about like the Shine, like I'm not a diehard fan. I really wanted to respond with, yeah, you're not like it's not like Saul to you.
oh no. I mean, obviously, it's way better than Saw, but,
Oh,
like,
I love Saul.
oh, yeah, yeah,
The
it's way
first one.
better. It's way better than Saw, but
Saul's more like your cup of tea, like diehard fan of.
it's really not. Okay, so like it's funny because I don't like too many torture movies. Like the first two Hostels are okay,
I
I
haven't
think, but
seen them. I only saw the first one.
for the most part, I don't really like. I don't even like torture, but Saw is it. Just because like of the storyline and the lore and the characters, and like the music and just like all of those other elements came together. Just like what Eric said in his Jigsaw review, like all these elements came together to make something cool and new and fresh and unique and epic, and um it's like those are the only torture movies I like really love, but yeah.
Yeah, I like the first. When it comes to the Saw films, I like the first two. Three,
Hey, three's good.
three is good, but I really like the first two the most.
Yeah.
I enjoyed four, kinda. Five is pretty cool. I liked six because that was attack on the healthcare system, which
Yeah.
I did like that one.
Six is one of the
I
best.
didn't like seven. Um,
Yeah, it's terrible, but
Jigsaw I had fun with because I actually did like seeing Tobin Bell back, even though it was for a brief moment. Um,
yeah, I like Jigsaw. I'm not a part of the hate. Most Saw fans hate Jigsaw. Really, all Saw fans hate Jigsaw. Which like I get it, but at the same time, it's like it's interesting and nice to have like something that's like that different aesthetically like
yeah.
from the rest of the movie. But it's like I get what like Eric Striffler was like there was nothing fresh about Jigsaw. It literally just looked like any other movie. It's like I get why people hate it, but I like it.
I'm in the minority. I really love Spiral.
Okay, so as a movie, I like it and it's fine, but
It's not as a Saw film. It's not
as a
that great.
Saw film, I hate it, or not really, because
I
it's
like
not.
its different chapter kind of thing.
Yeah, they literally just made it because Chris Rock wanted to make a Saw movie.
I mean that I'm not gonna lie, that actually didn't sound bad on paper, and I like that they got some. It was really cool that they got Samuel L. Jackson in it because
Yeah.
you don't really see him do a lot of horror films, so it's kind of cool. And I love Saw X.
Oh yeah, Saw X is incredible.
Ironically, it's also one of the highest rated in all the franchise.
I think it is actually higher than the first one. Like everyone likes Saw X. Like it's like even people that didn't like who hate the series, like oh all of them suck shit the first one. It's like people that legitimately watched it. They're I remember like the critical drinker. Like he's on the same. Because most people with the Saw movies say that, or really everyone says the first one's going. The first one was good, but then some people say that two was fine, but then after that everything sucks. All the sequels are terrible. Da, 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 da. You know, which but then like all those people, or a lot of those people were like, you know what, X is actually pretty good. I remember the critical drinker was like, it honestly wasn't bad. Which like, yeah, just I love Saw X.
It was definitely cool to see. I think the traps in some of the saws are a little too far fetched to be like legit traps.
Oh yeah.
But
Oh
I love
yeah, yeah, yeah.
the reverse bear trap. That's my favorite out of all the traps.
Yeah,
That's a
that's it.
if you would you make a Saw film if you were asked to, or would you have to push that off to someone else?
Um, I think I would say yes, 1,000,000%, but like I would be like also terrified because like it would be a hard thing. Obviously, any movie would be a hard thing to pull off. But I mean,
Yeah.
like it's like I think I would do a good job, but then I feel like if it actually came around to it, like all right, let's actually do it. I feel like I would be like I don't, I feel like I'd be stumped with a lot of things,
Yeah.
but I don't know.
I
I
think
but
Darren Lynn Bousman would be a really good creative consultant to help you out with that.
no, I will, yeah, but I mean, like, I'd take Kevin Greutert over him. Like, Kevin's one of like the top
Yeah.
people in general that I would love to interview, and it's so funny because Wet Movie couldn't give a fuck less about the fucking Saw movies, and then he saw Kevin Greutert, uh, Darren Bousman, Josh Stolberg, like all the Saw people, even Marcus Dunstan and Patrick Melton, like all the behind the scenes people that don't do conventions that are extremely rare to get signatures from. He saw all of them there, got their signatures, and like did quick interviews with them, like living my dream. And he couldn't
Oh.
give a fuck less about the Saw movies. I'm like, why the fuck didn't you tell me about that? He's like, I didn't know about that. I just knew about Marcus and Patrick. I'm like,
Are, are
damn
those
it.
the two behind the Collector series too?
Yes.
Yeah.
But like I was like, dude, I would have flown out for that shit.
Right.
But yeah, Kevin, I would love to interview at some point because he edited all the movies and he directed 6, 7, and X, and
Yeah.
it's just like Saw is Saw because of him, in my opinion, and he's just a master editor and like he yeah, it's why Saw X was so good because he directed and edited it, to where like he knows
Yeah.
what to shoot because he's the editor too.
I,
He knows what to give himself in the editing room, and like he said, he shot the most amount of footage, with that. But at the same time, I understand why they couldn't have put in some of the deleted scenes because of pacing, but there was still like quite a bit of things in the deleted scenes I really wish that they would have put in the
yeah.
actual movie.
I will say, despite the Saw movies not all of them being like good, but at least some of them are just fun to watch. I will say the editing is always the best part about it because they're all edited really well. Some of them are not shot as well, but the editing's always good.
Oh yeah, I couldn't.
And I
I
know you've
Yeah.
tried doing that with your
So
film.
hold on. I mean, I was gonna say, yeah,
Oh,
like let's save that one for the spoiler or for the spoiler um
part.
dis- discussion. But like, is there any other like things you want to ask like non spoiler
Um,
or
I'm pretty
you
much
know what I
about to
mean?
get ready to go into the spoilers unless something comes to mind.
Okay.
So, guys, this is your warning. If you have not watched the Alex Leyba movie 2, then why are you still listening to this? No, I'm just kidding. We're about to dive into spoilers. You got time to come back, save this for later, or whatever. So, we're gonna give you 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, spoiler time.
Here we go.
All right, so I want to tell you something really hilarious about something that is spoilery. The part where you and Matt say your goodbyes. When you were trying to get a hug from him, I thought he was gonna hit you with the hockey stick and walk away. Like
That
after he thought you were using him just to get closer to Stuckman.
Yeah, like again, I really like that conclusion and like I was trying to think of like cuz like I had reasoning for why I was keeping the Stuckman montage in there, but then like earlier when I was trying to explain it, I couldn't remember exactly what it was, and then I just stopped myself. Oh, never mind. But but yeah, like that's hilarious. Like I never thought of that. That would have been but like that's not like him though, so it wouldn't have made
Yeah,
sense. It would have made sense for
like
Mason
a
as
or
you actually know. Yeah, he
yeah,
fucking
beat the
and
crap out of
also
you.
that's a really funny thought though. I wish we would have done like another take to where he just did that. Where
That would be like a very Randall thing to do from Clerks.
I know, and like it is funny about how he's just holding the hockey stick the whole time, like in this
Yeah.
scene.
And you see this montage, and the next thing you know, you're going for a hug, and he just walks away.
Yeah.
Like no hug. Nah, he seems like a pretty chill guy.
Oh, I love Matthew, like I said earlier.
Yeah, and then Josh, man, I have to talk about the whole you showing up, and then he's like, "Yeah, man, we're gonna smoke together." How was that awkward for you, or was it, or how
Like,
crazy?
okay, so that was all 100% real. I was on the fence about smoking with him at first,
I could
and
tell because of the in the film, you were like,
yep, I was yeah, just very on the fence about doing it, but then we just did it, and then it was hard to like I hate smoking, but like after that point I did actually start doing edibles, but like it's very I don't do it very often, only like once in a blue moon,
really?
I don't know because like they're so strong they affect me for like 2 days and it's like I don't want to waste 2 days just staring at the fucking wall, just not doing anything, it's like it's just 2 days wasted out the window not doing nothing.
I freaking love it when he just drugs you. He's
I
like,
know
"Oh,
that was 1,000% real.
oh,
I
that
mean,
was." I thought
you
he
thought that was faked when he drugged me?
he was like, "Oh, it's like. By the way, it's only supposed to be half of a gummy, and you took two."
Yeah, so hold on. Did you think that that was faked or
I
no?
literally thought that was scripted as shit because that didn't look like the strong. Because I know people that do edibles, and that bottle does not look like the strong ones that I know people that get that. So I'm like, that has to be staged. Because I thought it was staged because as someone who knows people who buy that stuff, I know it looks. I know it's supposed to be this, but again, obviously they mark it, and I keep forgetting that there's also different places in the world. So for all I, but I thought it was staged. But you said it was real, so holy shit.
It is 1,000. I swear to God, 1,000%. And then like that's I thought like maybe you could tell that it's real like from like my reaction and like from his voice and and like because like that was all actually set up by him. Like he obviously like really tricked me and then like like just that's why I kept all that's another long take that I kept, because like
Get all the different
it just
colors.
my reaction no like one take, when I
Oh,
realized I was like, are you serious? And like I was like and then yeah, like with the that is actually when I was super high and then like it was ridiculous. I was on the toilet for like 45 minutes just staring at the wall. And then like I came, but like Josh was like on my phone. You know what's funny? This actually ties into the narrative. But it didn't have. Or wait, or maybe it. Hang on, maybe it did actually. No, okay. So he was on my phone while I was in the bathroom for 45 minutes, and then I laid down. I'm like, "Can I have my?" So basically, he was on my phone for an hour and a half. Like actually, like in real life, and then so like God damn it, you fucking dick. I just remembered that too, because but it's very hazy because I was so high. No, but yeah, it's like that was all real. I was so fucked up, and I was so I was fucked up for 3 days straight. That really messed me up.
oh.
And then like I went in his bathroom and then I pissed all over the floor. And I thought I was making it in the toilet, but I didn't. Apparently, none of it went in there, and it was all over the floor. Then his mom got mad and made me go clean it up, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry." I was so embarrassed.
Did
And
she know
then,
what was going on?
nah, I don't think she knew. I mean, like, she probably picked up on the fact that I was high, but like, she didn't know that it was to that extent. And then I went like, I'm like, oh, I thought I made it in, but apparently, like, none of it went in. And I mean, like, there's a longer story with it, but I might just tell you off there.
Yeah, that's crazy though.
It's funny.
Yeah, well, at least she didn't like be like get out of my house.
Yeah. No, but I mean, obviously, rightfully so. I'd be like, what the fuck? Yeah.
Uh,
But yeah.
that's funny. Uh, yeah, I was watching that. And I'm like, oh my goodness. And then the scene, the the fight scene with you and Mason, you broke a freaking tripod.
Yeah, at first it was an accident, but but then he continued with it, and then it's also like poetic because obviously it's like he's beating me with the thing that he hates the most about me,
Yeah,
like and it just I love the way that it's like half handheld and half like from the other angle, to
yeah.
where it's like him beating me like from my handheld angle, and like that shit hurt too.
Oh, I know it does. I've been whacked with one.
Yeah, it also hurt when he like literally beat the fucking shit out of me. Like,
Yeah. This
oh
fighting
man,
actually looked pretty staged, but if it was
it did.
well, the one part where he threw you into the wall near the door, I was like, oh my god, that had to have hurt.
Well, yeah, I mean, like you saw the hole it made in the wall, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's it's just so funny because like he did that, and then like
How did John react to that?
he didn't see any of it.
What, the hole
He
in the wall?
Oh, to the whole, yeah, like he was pissed, and then he had to apparently got it fixed, but he was pissed.
Yeah. I imagine he was. I mean, I like it when you guys are talking about that. He's like, can I have a pair of sunglasses? No.
Oh yeah, I love that too. And like the thing is that like like everyone has some sort of arc or some sort of like meaning to their everyone has some sort of meaningful like I guess character arc or something like that, but John's entire like even if it's like kind of smaller like Matthew, but it's like John's entire arc is literally just that he's a fat fuck, like he has no like well I guess his arc like at the end like when he like like it kicks Mason out or whatever, and then like it's because he kicks him out again, but then it's like goes ties back to the first one with that, and then it's like it all is just and then like all that was not um I decided while I was editing while editing the exposed sequence that okay, why not just have this be mixed in with that, like cut back and forth? And like the thing I really like about the movie is that it's non-linear. Okay, so like I kind of rip off Deadpool and Wolverine, obviously with the opening credits music, but not really. Like it's just a song. Like obviously it's from Deadpool and Wolverine, but yeah, it's also from other movies like Red Rocket, which we'll get to in a little bit. And then it's just a song, because I would imagine people are going to be like, oh, you're ripping off Deadpool over it. Well, it's funny because I mean like that song I've never heard until Deadpool and Wolverine, so I guess you could say.
Really?
So I guess yeah, I'm not shitting you, I don't know how, but
I wouldn't. Yeah, I don't know how either. Like, that's a popular song.
I know, but it's so fucking catchy. I don't know why I love that song. And then like I watched Red Rocket for the first time, and when that song was that's like the song of that movie, and
Yeah.
then and then I kind of ended up tying in Red Rocket to this, and but then also like it makes the lyrics match up with the story, it's like bye bye bye, like everyone's saying bye bye bye, get the fuck out of my life, and one of the lyrics is literally, now I've really come to see that life would be much better with you gone, and then it's
Yeah.
like there's a moment where Blake closes the door in my face, and it's like that lyric is like heavily honed in on, or it's just you just hear that lyric in that montage, and it's like it's not just ripping, it's not like there's actually I feel like a little bit of meaning like to that song in the opening credits, and then also again we'll get to it in a little bit, or we could get into it now if you want, but the Red Rocket thing later in the movie with the song appears again. But with the non-linear, like in the beginning, it starts with Eric and then it goes back and then lines up with the events of that, exactly like in Deadpool. But it's funny because I didn't even think about it as ripping off Deadpool and Wolverine because for the longest time that was the beginning. Or okay, so like in the really early stages, like that Eric scene was like at the actual point it was in the timeline, like it was completely linear. But then at a certain point, I decided to make it first, and then after Deadpool and Wolverine came out, I was thinking, shit, that is. I'm pretty much ripping off the Deadpool editing style of starting off with this and then lining up with the events later. But then it's linear throughout the rest of it until the third act. Then it's all very non-linear, But I mean it's with jumping back and forth like in time and things and I really like how I did that. And what are your thoughts on the non-linear aspect of it in specifically with the third act? Did it work for you or do you feel like it would have worked better if most of it or all of it was just completely linear?
No, it worked really good as a non-linear because it was. See, I guess maybe if you're not, maybe if you're just a casual moviegoer who can't really follow a film, maybe it might be difficult for them. But if you know how to follow a movie, you can definitely tell what's going on. Like I could easily follow it, and I really did like the non-linear storytelling. Because even though it is nice to go to point A to point B, sometimes you got to go back to point A to get to point B.
Yeah, exactly. And it's it shit, I was gonna say something, I forgot what it was. But shit, what was I gonna say? I appreciate that though, because
Yeah.
it's very I was trying to think like when I was doing it, it's like there wasn't much of a reason for it to say, but I just felt like it worked so much better that way, like for the story, to have it be non-linear at the specifically in the third act because it's linear through most of it, but I feel like with what you just said, this is what I don't know how it just left my mind, but it's the kind of thing where I tried to make it clear when things were taking place and like for instance like when I'm crying in the car, I show a quick shot of that, and then it cross dissolves into the night when Bronson calls me. It's the same shot, but it cross dissolves into night, which that there's that shot, and then the scene happens when I'm looking at the pictures when I find out about Mason's kid, and then it's like that scene happens a month, and it's said a month later because maybe people, it's like you really got to pay attention to the whole movie, but the third act specifically because there's a lot of things,
Yeah.
people may think oh, what do you mean he had the kid already? It's like, no, it's said a month later, earlier in the movie, you know what I mean? So it's like if you miss certain things you won't pick up on
Yeah.
when things are taking place or whatever, and so I tried to make it clear, and like people who are like you said, exactly what you said, you nailed it. People who aren't paying attention, people who are paying attention and who understand movies and stuff will get it, but like the average viewer, maybe if you're on your phone or something, you'll miss certain things, but yeah.
Yeah. Those that are watching this that are still listening to this podcast and have watched the movie, if you couldn't follow it, go watch it again. Or if you don't, or if you didn't watch it, if you want to prepare yourself on how to follow a movie, watch Memento. But trigger warning: that is not the night. Is actually not the easiest recommendation I should have mentioned if you want to watch a movie where you can barely. I think that's a really good training movie for people to learn how to follow a movie because your editing style for this reminded me of Memento. I don't know if that was an inspiration for you.
Actually, with this story specifically, no. which is crazy. Okay, so Memento is one of my all-time favorite movies. It's in my top 20. I adore it, and obviously editing is my thing. It's something I'm very passionate about. Although, you know, it this movie feels very choppy, and I understand that that feels amateur, especially with looking at the entire final product, which is what I got into at the very beginning of this. But like I look at it now and like I could go back and change it if I want to, but like that would add a little bit more time to like make scenes breathe a little bit more and have more of a nuance. But at the same time, I like how fast it moves, but I don't know. Um but like editing is my thing, and so like that's I don't think I was influenced by it. Like maybe I was, but I just didn't realize it. Like in what way specifically? Do you mean just with the non-linear
Yeah, with
element
the
to it?
non-linear
Because
elements and then going back to certain things as well, because that
I wasn't conscious of it, to be honest with you, and like I wasn't thinking about Memento in terms of that sort of thing like at all. But I guess maybe I just have seen that movie so many times, and maybe it just naturally happened. But yeah, I see what you're saying though about like when it flashes back to his wife and like Sammy
yeah.
Jenkins and stuff like that. I that movie just means so much to me, and that'll always be my favorite Nolan film. And
It's ironically one of the only Nolan movies I like.
that's you pretentious douchebag.
Oh, I love
Not,
Inception.
I'm just kidding. Okay, but like to say that you don't like them,
Yeah,
really?
I think the Dark Knight trilogy is very overrated.
Okay, that's not it's I can't argue with you too much, but I mean obviously like okay.
I don't think you
I think
can.
they're great, but I can't argue with you too much, you know.
Yeah, I don't think I don't think they're terrible movies. I just think people saying that these are the best Batman products, I don't believe that. I think there's better options. I do think Christian Bale is good. I can't deny Heath Ledger's Joker. Me
Yep.
personally, I prefer Jack Nicholson, but that's just me. Um, love Aaron Eckhart as Harvey Dent. I think he was probably like my favorite part of the Dark Knight. I don't really care for Tom Hardy, never did. So Dark Knight Rises doesn't do anything for me. Love
Huh.
Inception now. Love Inception.
Oh yes.
Love Interstellar. I didn't like Oppenheimer or Tenet.
What?
Yeah, I think it's. Here's the thing about Nolan. All his movies are shot well. They are. They're beautifully shot. Pacing is always an issue. That's why I didn't like Tenet.
Yeah, like Tenet is I
It's
don't know, it's
shot
like
well. It's really shot well. I will say it is beautiful,
yeah.
and I can't wait to see his Odyssey because I've read that book. I know what it's gonna be like, so I'm
Hmm.
excited. I actually that might be my favorite. No, I don't think it'll beat Memento. Actually, that's my favorite Nolan film. I love
Mhm.
Batman Begins. I do love that, but
Hmm.
I'm not a big fan of the Dark Knight or the Dark Knight Rises. I just don't think
Okay. Okay, so The Dark Knight Rises, I 1000% cannot argue with you on. But I
the
mean,
Dark Knight.
you
I
you
know
gotta
everyone.
you gotta love The Dark Knight. I'm sorry.
Everybody
It's
says that.
peak cinema,
It is
I
beautiful. It
think.
is a beautifully shot film, and it's edited really well.
But I mean, but hold on, like these elements, like, these elements that you're saying, these things you're saying about Nolan, I agree with a lot of his movies, like the pacing and like it seems like his movies just aren't for you, like which
I love
I
Memento.
I know, but I'm saying that's separated from his other stuff because that's not what like that doesn't have any of the issues of his later movies or
Yeah.
most of them at least. If I really thought about it, I could probably no. I mean, Memento is like to me like just a 10 out of 10 everything, editing especially. It's just a masterpiece. Like Memento to me is like by far my favorite. Like it's one again. They just I love it, but in my opinion, those other issues that you said about Nolan's films like aren't present in The Dark Knight, in my opinion at least. But you know,
Oh no,
I
the
obviously
pacing not in that film. I just think
I'm
again,
saying I'm saying the other problems that a lot of people have with other Nolan films, I feel like aren't prevalent in The Dark Knight specifically. Like in my opinion, at least.
yeah, no, I'm not saying that The Dark Knight's a terrible film. I enjoy it. I can watch it. I just don't think it's the best Batman product out there. Um, Love. I also don't think. I think okay. This is my opinion, and I've been told I'm wrong before, but you can't tell me that with it being Heath Ledger's last role, you can't tell me that that didn't build any hype off of that. I think that built some hype for the film, and I think that that's not. I think we should. I mean, the performance is great, but I think to view it as that, like people have told me, like, oh, well, it got a lot of attention because of that. It probably got more attention. I'm not gonna deny that, but I don't. I think maybe speaking, had that not have happened, I think we would have kept him in. I think he would have been the villain in the third movie.
One, no, he was supposed to be,
Okay.
which I mean, like Tom Hardy was good as Bane, but I remember I literally hated The Dark Knight Rises when I first saw it
I don't blame
because
you.
I loved the Joker so much, and I was actually pissed because like there was no, I knew he wasn't gonna be in it obviously, but I knew that like he I thought maybe they would tie something in or they didn't. He wasn't even mentioned once throughout that whole movie,
Nope.
and like just in my opinion, yeah, just like
Yeah.
that's by far the weakest out of the trilogy, like no question.
Yeah. I
Like,
did like Gary Oldman as Commissioner Gordon.
oh yeah, he's
That's
great.
great casting right there. Michael Caine as Alfred. I'm not a bit. I like Michael Caine, but I really do like Jeremy Irons. I know it's two different universes, but I did like him as Alfred.
Yeah, that was an interesting casting decision for sure.
Yeah, I mean, everyone loves Nolan's films. I think the last one that I watched in the well, I did watch Oppenheimer in theaters. I didn't see Tenet in theaters. I unfortunately had to wait for Blu-ray because that unfortunately was during the happy times known as the COVID, and my family didn't want me going out to the movie theaters, so I had to unfortunately wait for it to drop on Blu-ray. I rented it from Redbox, and I was just unimpressed. But
Hmm.
I didn't really care for Dunkirk either, but I think that's because I don't really like a lot of war movies.
Oh, I hate Dunkirk. Okay, I don't hate Dunkirk. I don't like it. It's obviously incredibly well made, but it's not for me.
Yeah,
It's like I don't say I hate a certain movie like that's like actually like aesthet like it's like I've a lot of times I say like, oh, I don't really care for it. Like it didn't click with me or it's just not for me or not my kind of thing rather than, like something would like with what Paul would say like, "Oh, I straight up hate it," And then
yeah,
like I say like, "Oh, well, you could, you know, not like a movie, but just not deny that it's still a great film because it's well made, but it's just not for you." But it's like he doesn't understand that concept. Like I would say like, "Oh, like you could not like 2001: A Space Odyssey very much, but love something like 30 minutes or less." But but like that one more, but obviously there's no denying that 2001: A Space Odyssey is a better film. Then he it's like he didn't understand that. He was like, well, not that he didn't understand. He was like, well, no, like if you think it's like what do you mean you like it more? No, it's like you think that that's better because you like it more. Like what do you mean? I'm like, well, no, obviously 2001's better. Never mind. We really got off topic with this one.
oh, that's okay. It's a great conversation, but yeah, no. I think there are two movies in my there are two movies in my collection that I watch once a year. Um, and it's Memento and Requiem for a Dream.
Nice.
Those two movies I love the most. Actually, I haven't watched Requiem since I bought it on 4K, so I'll probably dig that out sometime before the end of this year to check it out on 4K. I bought it because I wanted it because I had it on Blu-ray and I love that movie. I still have not rewatched it since the first time I saw it because that's a horror movie. If you want a horror movie that's not considered horror, it's horror. It's a horror movie. Have you watched Requiem, right?
I actually never have,
It is a
but I
movie.
have a signed copy by Darren Aronofsky though.
Ooh, that's awesome. I will say, if you want a movie that shows the struggles of drug addiction, there you go. That's a movie.
Yep.
It is a his work is also not for everybody. I think he's one of the filmmakers that I appreciate because everything he does is vastly different.
Yes.
I love Black Swan. I know people that don't like Black Swan, but they love Mother. I love Mother as well.
I mean, I don't like Mother, but it's not.
Not for you.
Yeah, I can't.
It's a
I don't
weird
know.
movie.
You could just take my ideology of what I just described
Yeah.
and just say like, and from what I said a minute ago, you could say like, oh, well, then that means like you don't have any real opinions then, because it's like, oh, like if you don't hate something, and if you just love but kind of like with, I don't know, it's kind of, I don't know. You could say
It,
that I don't know.
it's like Black Christmas 2019. It's not a movie made for me, but I still relatively enjoyed it. It's not a movie
Yeah.
that it didn't target my demographic. It didn't target men, it targeted women, which is completely fine. I actually didn't hate it for that reason. It was a movie that they wanted to make and they made it. And I'm not going to sit there and say that they did now there unless unless it's The Room. I will say that is the one movie that I cannot rewatch. I can't. I can watch
You
Disaster
no, hold
Artist.
on. You have to do it in like
I
a theater with a bunch of people.
Now that I probably would do. I know Greg Sinistro did that a few times. I think
Sestero. He
Sestero.
does it all the time. Like that's worth it. I would highly recommend doing that.
Yeah, I know he also did it with. He went to there was a theater in my area a few years ago. He did a disaster artist screening and Q&A, and I wanted to go to that so bad, but the tickets were sold out when I found out about it. I would have loved to go
Damn.
because I think that would have been cool to see because I do like that movie and I love the book. I read the book. I love it.
I actually didn't read the book, but I listened to the audiobook,
Yeah.
and that I agree. I love that, and I love the movie as well, and yeah, I agree. Like it's great.
Yeah, I think what do you think is the worst movie you've ever saw?
Um, I don't know.
I think mine would be X-Men 3.
X-Men 3 ever?
It's one of the worst movies I've ever seen. Yeah, I've only watched it one time.
Well, I mean, you could say one of them, but like the absolute worst. I mean, I haven't. I don't think I've even seen the whole thing, but like I think there's way worse movies out there.
Oh yeah,
But
Dark Phoenix.
oh well, I haven't seen that, but
But yeah, back to this. I'm sorry, we're
it
going way
it's
crazy.
all right. It's all
But
right.
um, uh, let me see. I'm trying to think. I had my question, and then we talked about Memento and everything like that, which great film, love it.
Oh yeah.
Red Rocket, great movie as well.
So did you know that that was from let's get into that. Like
That
did
Bye
you know that
Bye,
that was from Red Rocket?
the Bye Bye cover, yeah.
So I watched Red Rocket for the first time like recently, and I loved that movie. But then I was trying to get like just the movie like clip of that song. like to use because I thought, man, that'd be good to use for the movie because it's you know, it's the the same song as the opening but in a completely different way, like with
Yeah.
like a different tone and different, cuz things are different now cuz in the beginning I'm like happy go lucky, like like in my own completely in my own little world, and then, like it's like a goofy, like obviously the original song is super goofy, but then this song is like the same song, but just like in a really serious tone. And it's like I love that idea because now things are different, things are more sad, and it's like I'm at my lowest point, and it's just I don't know. I just really think it works really well. Obviously, like I feel like I could have done a better job with the scene itself visually. Well, I mean, I don't know. Like, there's definitely some shot. Like, I love the shot of the lights and then me driving. Like on the street, and then I mean, it's like I don't know. I don't know what more I could have done with it. To like emphasize what I was trying to get across, but yeah, anyway, like I didn't know that there was a legit studio version that she did of that song. Her singing "Bye Bye Bye," and like there's another layer of it of that in the movie she's singing that song to somebody who's like similar to me. Like that character is like a little similar to me. Like if you watch it, and not with everything obviously because he's basically a psychopath. But like immature, you know, with the immature way he acts and everything. Like it's like that character is similar to me, and so that's another layer with it. With that, like in that movie that she's singing to someone who's kind of like me, and I feel like with people who are fans of Red Rocket. When they watch this, like I'm sure maybe they haven't heard the actual studio version, and then so like maybe like that's something that they would appreciate about it. And so like yeah, I really like it. But then also you said you've never seen Primer, but like I don't know, it's kind of pointless. Not well, I mean, it's kind of cool, but like I Mason really didn't want to do that part. Like that was obviously a part that was like set up, and then like he really didn't want to do it, and like he was so fucking pissed, and like he like it was only 30 minutes away from his house. And I'm like, let's do the primer. And he's like, he was like, I don't understand the point of the primer scene. He's like, why can't we just shoot it in the backyard? I'm like, because the whole point of it is that it's in the same spot as they filmed the movie and it released it. And he's like, nobody cares. He's
Oh,
like,
is that movie?
yeah. And then he's like, nobody cares. Like no one will care or whatever. And then like he just really he like refused to do it, and then like to be dead honest with you, like I'll just say it, like this is what I'm fine with saying. Like I shot him. I feel like it might be kind of obvious, but like I shot him in a different location, and like so like that scene was like I mean he was still genuine in what he was saying because like we were actually talking to each other. Like
Mm-hmm.
we were actually okay. So it's like the scene was real, but my part of it I shot somewhere else. But then I actually was legit talking to him when I shot his side of it. So it's like it was fake, but also completely real at the same time. So it's kind of like both, But it's like I shot. He wasn't there, like at the bench, And
Mm-hmm.
so like I pretended like we were talking to each other, but it was yeah, he really didn't want to do it. And then like when he was in my room, he saw the Blu-ray and then he held it up. He's like, "Oh, the primer scene." I'm like, "Fuck you."
Who? What movie is Primer exactly? Like, what kind of?
It's a okay. So is I would highly recommend it. It is probably the most confusing movie I've ever seen. It's a time travel movie that was made on a shoestring budget of $7,000, and it is one
Oh.
of the prime examples, prime, haha, prime examples of a no budget feature, not an extremely low budget feature, of like like a Clerks or like one of those kinds of movies, to shoot like on a super low budget. And that was a huge success story, and Shane Carruth directed that movie. He did everything. He edited the thing. He had an extremely small crew. And but he wrote like a really complicated time travel story to where he and him and his friend are engineers, and they accidentally create time travel, but the way it works is so specific, and like at first it might be kind of easy to follow, but then like it gets so complicated. And then it's funny because I've seen it so many times, and I've even seen explanations about what happens in the movie like so many times, and I still don't completely understand how everything fits together because it's so big and complex. And I saw like a picture of like movie timelines that are like that are time travel, and like it's like most of them are just like straight lines with like a couple things swooping back and forth, like there's Back to the Future, like a lot of them are very simple, like, and then there's Bill and Ted, and then just it's like you see the timeline, but then like loops in the timeline where they go back and forth. But then primers, there was like 100, not, I don't know about 100, but there was like endless amounts of different circles. Like it literally looked like a preschooler just drew like a bunch of circles around like with a crayon or something. It's just so funny because it's that complex, but it's interesting. I would recommend it. It's definitely not for everybody though, but like a lot of film people know about it. And then in the flashback scene at the end, make a it doesn't really matter that like I'm sitting there like in the actually, okay, so like it doesn't matter that like in the furlong scene, which I'll get to, like that I'm in the primer spot. But it makes sense in terms of like where my mind is in the narrative. You know what I mean? Because like it's when we just talked about that, and like I guess it's supposed to be like before Mason shows up or whatever. And it's like yeah, and so like it makes complete sense for like that point in the timeline, that like with the things I'm saying to him and stuff like that, which um yeah, and so like I'm gonna say like people that are fans of Red Rocket and Primer will definitely find something you appreciate, but
Yeah, Red Rocket is one of one of my favorite films in the last few years. I've really liked that a lot.
I couldn't agree more. I really, because like when you get down to it, it's really like I'm trying to think of a way to explain it. It's really not that eventful, or like not that much to it like when you really break it down, but it's just, I don't know, like I just really like it, I mean, like if you really truly break the whole thing down, it's like there's stuff, there's things in there to you know what I mean,
Yeah,
but like
my
it's a pretty simple movie.
my if we're talking like Sean Baker though, I really love the Florida Project.
Me too. I adore that one. Like that's probably it's that one. I don't know. I feel like he's definitely getting better as a filmmaker for sure.
Love
Because
Nora.
oh yeah, like those are my three favorites: Sonora, Red Rocket, and the Florida Project for sure. I think I like Red Rocket and Florida Project about the same, and then Anora, and then his others. I don't like Tangerine as much as most people do, but I appreciate a lot about it, and I like it, but it's not. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't,
yeah. I think what I really liked about Anora, one, when I first heard about it, I didn't know what the heck it was being like, because I remember seeing it on Mikey Madison's IMDb, and I'm like, I don't know what that is, and I didn't think of nothing of it after that. And then I saw a trailer, and I was like, oh, that looks pretty cool, and I did. I actually really liked it.
And you realized it was a Sean Baker movie?
Yeah, it took me a little while to realize after the trailer said it, a film by Sean Baker. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
he's definitely. I also like how he edits his movies too.
Me too. He is a great editor, but I'm gonna be honest. It is a really well edited film, but there's not much like special to it. It just in my opinion, the editing and the substance was leaps and bounds better than the editing in Honora, but the editing in Honora was good. It just, in my opinion, didn't do much that was super unique. Like it was just like really, really well edited, Like
Yeah,
but just it didn't do anything like super unique like the substance did, and so because of that I think the substance was way better edited and in my opinion deserved the Oscar for that as well as best actress. Um but
I know that guy's definitely
Mikey
hot.
Madison was still really good, but like, and again, Honora is really good, but in my opinion, I don't think it deserved all of the Oscars it got. But although, again, I love Sean Baker and I'm very happy for him, and yeah.
Man, it won everything but one award it was nominated for.
I know. I can't fucking believe it. It's probably because they spent $18 million. Like they bought all those fucking Oscars. They spent $18 million on the Oscar campaign. That's so fucking funny. But
Yeah,
like it.
it was nice to see the substance even nominated for Best Picture, just because it doesn't happen to horror a lot.
Yeah, I know. Like I love the substance. Mason despised the substance. He thought it was
Does
terrible.
he just not understand it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like he just
I love it.
he didn't I don't know. It's like I would tell him, "Oh, you didn't get it." He's like, "No, I get it." It's like he thought it was too long, and then he just thought that it was
I don't think
just he just thought it was stupid, I guess. And then he's like, "How did this get that many Oscar nominations?" I'm like, he's like, which ones did it get? I'm like, "Well, it won Best Makeup." He's like, "Yeah, I get that one." And then like he just won't elaborate on why he hates it after that. And then like I mentioned it to his dad, and he's like, "Don't watch it, it's ass." And I'm like, "Hey, it's not ass, it's just not your cup of tea." And then it goes to what I said earlier, but it's like, I don't know.
Yeah. No,
Anyway,
I get that because a lot of people. It's like my friend told me I don't like Paul Thomas Anderson films. I'm like, you can't tell me there's one movie that you. And now I like that new one that came out, that One Battle After Another. And I was
did
like,
you see it?
I did. I liked it.
Yeah, I really liked it too.
I really love Licorice Pizza. That's my favorite of his.
You've got to be fucking kidding me.
Oh, I love
How,
it.
how I'm sorry. How is that your favorite?
Well, I also love Punch Drunk Love.
Yes.
But I really loved. I think because when that came out, I was actually in the middle of going through a massive breakup,
Okay,
and
that's
I needed
definitely a
something.
contributing factor.
And it's such a. I actually really do love the film. I really do. I think it's still one of my
It's
favorites.
I mean, it's. I'm not. That was kind of rude what I just said, but
No,
like,
you're
I'm not.
fine.
I'm not saying it's. I think it's bad. It just, in my opinion, his other stuff's better.
Yeah, he's
But
got. I mean, a lot of good. I do like it. I also really love. I don't know. I like those coming of age stories anyway. They're always. Some of them are always good. Some of them are bad.
yeah,
But I think my favorite coming of age movie is always going to be Boyhood. I really love that film.
me too.
Or Stand By Me. Those are two of my favorites.
I couldn't agree more. Those are literally two of my favorites as well.
Leyba
But
movie could be considered a coming of age film if you think about it.
well, yeah, coming of age for a 27-year-old fucking man child. But then you could look at Mason as. But anyway, let's. This okay. It is a great conversation, but like it's like I don't think anyone's gonna listen to fucking 5 hours.
Well, this hasn't been 5 hours, almost been 3 hours.
Oh, it has. I really thought it's been. Well, I
Well,
mean,
we've been chatting. We were
5 hours.
chatting before.
Okay, but what did you? Okay, how did you feel about like I guess like with what I critiqued myself with at the beginning, with what I said at the beginning of this. How did you feel about one the pacing? Like, be as honest as you can. Like, if there's something you didn't like please, let you know. It's like I'm welcoming any kind of constructive criticism. Like, or I'm actually like before I ask this, like just in general with anything. Like, is there anything you didn't like about the movie, or anything you thought was lacking, or anything like that?
The only thing that I personally didn't like was that it felt like and again I figured it was due to like time, well not really time but like maybe it, and that well after you were telling me about how you cut stuff down, it felt choppy at parts, and I thought maybe that was intentional, or maybe like it was shot like that, or I
Well, yes and no. Like I said, it was like that's the biggest thing that I was looking at, and who knows, maybe I'll go back and change it. But like it, did you feel like the whole movie was like that, or did you just
just
feel
parts
disoriented in just certain parts?
in certain parts, like the conversation at the rink with Matt and you chopping up a little bit there and all that.
Yeah,
Like when it kept cutting back to like it would be the shot of both of you, then be his face, then your face, then the shot of both of you again, and it just felt kind of like chopped up like that, which is fine, and the dialogue still matched, but it felt like there was more to each shot.
yep, 1,000,000%. Like it was
That was the
condensed.
biggest noticeable for me.
Yeah, like that. It's like the question is, do I go back and make it longer? But it's
Mm,
like it's like it had to be like that for the running length,
yeah.
because and um yeah, like it again, like it was longer, and like it yeah, like longer, and had more breathing room to like maintain nuance, and like it didn't feel like also that it like moved too fast, and did you feel like you couldn't really connect to the characters for the most part, like because of that, because it moved so fast, and like did it feel like a sequence of like a series of events to you rather than an actual story,
No,
or like yeah.
I got the story pretty good. It didn't feel like a sequence of events. I mean, I can see where you might think that because it just kind of jumps, but no, I did get the story out of it. It's not like you got to go back and like rechange everything. It actually does flow really nice.
But you did you feel like you could like completely connect with the characters, like
Yes,
considering how fast it was going through a lot of it?
yes, for sure.
Okay, that's good. And
Uh,
was there anything else that you didn't like about it that you could think of? Like, even just small things like that you
uh,
like took you out of it or anything?
mm, hang on, let's see. Uh, not that I can think of. No, at all.
Huh.
You
Well,
know,
thanks.
yeah, it all flowed really good. It definitely was. Like I told you earlier, I was like, whoa, this was a lot better than I thought it was gonna be.
Well, that's cool. So like I appreciate that. And so like the third act, I mean, we touched on the fact that, it's non-linear and like again, I wasn't um I didn't know that the Mason stuff was going to be intercut with it before, but then I thought, no, like I don't know, like I really like that, like how everything's edited together, like in that, because like technically the exposed scene is like almost a half hour long, from like when it
Yeah.
starts to then like when I leave, but so much is in there that I wouldn't consider that a scene. Like it's like a a sequence, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
and it's like there's a lot of little tiny scenes in within this big sequence, that's framed around the exposed scene where it's cutting back and forth. And like with that one, I really that took the longest out of any scene in the movie to edit. Like by far the longest. I mean, for so many different reasons. For one, so much footage that was shot for it, for everything. The stuff in Texas, with the fight with Mason, and then also like just everything. Obviously, I shot a ridiculous amount of footage for the entire movie, but with that sequence specifically, like there was a lot of choices, with what to do, and also like it was a balancing act, and then also with like shooting things like for one, like as it was happening, and then two, like what shooting things in an aesthetically pleasing way, to like engage the viewer more, rather than, I mean, obviously a lot of it is the shot reverse shot with those two shots of me just freaking standing there, but also, like I really tried to cut back and forth, to the fire and to this and to that, and like
Yeah.
to make it not just the two shots of me, and then also with obviously having it cut back and forth between Mason and the end of his storyline, then flashbacks to other things. It's like I really just tried the best I can with that entire sequence, and I spent so much time, obviously, with the entire movie, but an absurd amount of time with like that whole sequence took like 4 months to edit, and
Oh,
like
I bet. Especially with the Saul. You nailed that Saul editing down.
so that. I am so happy that I did. And also, did you notice the substance? Like that music was from the substance.
Yes.
Okay, so because like it's just that's the only track in the substance that wasn't a score made for that film. It I love that track, when the blood's spewing everywhere. Da, na, na, na. It's just so epic, and like um and just that whole score, I felt like worked with it. And then like and before I started editing it, I really thought, okay, I really want to use Saw, but the substance works better. But then, like, I figured out, obviously as I was editing it, that, or like before like right when I started editing it, like it became apparent, like, well, the scene's going to be so long, and like, also with cutting back and forth from Mason, like, I basically had to use both, because if it was only Saw the whole time, that would get pretty repetitive after 30 fucking minutes. Plus, I literally would have ran out of time with and so like it just I love how, and then plus like also, you know to have a cut back and forth between the two different kinds of the two different tracks, it definitely made it not, I feel like, not as boring as it would have been if it would have been Saw the entire time, but I basically, with that whole sequence, I really tried to make it as entertaining as possible in terms of like showing different shots and like different music, showing different things, and I mean with the whole movie, but that scene specifically, to where it's just all me fucking standing there on my fucking phone, you know, and like and yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I'm really happy that I used, the because obviously and people, a lot of people who follow my stuff know I'm a die-hard Saw fan. It's my favorite horror franchise. It's and I've been wanting to use the Saw Hello Zep theme with something the entire time I've been on YouTube, and especially with like one of my movies or like something to do with like my narrative or lore or something, and then it's like I finally did it, and I'm so happy that I got to do it, and I really like the way that it turned out, and like it just I'm really glad that it all obviously, you know, if again if the videos weren't taken down, it would have been 100% different, and like the movie would have been completely different than what it was in the third act. But um yeah, I'm really glad the Saw ended up the way it did, and I'm just so happy that because like Hello Zep might be my favorite piece of music in all of cinema. I'm not kidding. Like it's not even it's like say what you will about like the Saw movies or the sequels to the Saw movies, but just the music, in my opinion, is legitimately incredible. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, I love.
even by normal film standards, like it is just seriously my favorite piece of music in all of cinema. I'm not kidding. And like I never get tired of listening to it. Da, na, na. And then the substance, that track really fit with it as well, I thought. And I needed something that was like devastating but also felt like like an orchestra, because everything was coming to a it was, and I felt like it was kind of horror centric as well, because it's like being with what was happening, it really matched with my emotions, I felt like, and I felt like that matched perfectly with what I was going for, like the epic scope of like what was of of like trying to present an epic scope of the scene, the sequence, and what was happening, but then also like matching with my emotions and the horror that I was feeling, and like and then like specifically like in the like when they're talking about the women, like you hear like the woman's voice like in the track in the song like the most prevalent in that section of it, which is interesting because the scene's about women, like how I treat them like in the movie and stuff.
Mm.
Not in real life, but you're never mind. Okay, what was gonna
uh,
be your question?
oh, I like how you tied back to when you got the. I always remember when you got all them slip covers from that one guy on YouTube,
David, yeah.
and then you burnt your collection only to be revealed that it's still there. You burnt the slip covers with fake Blu-ray with fake cases.
Yeah, which is something that realistically everyone knew. Like everyone said that like, oh, you didn't really burn your collection, but it's the kind of thing to where like, you know, everyone's like, oh, it wasn't all of it. It was clearly not your entire collection, but that's what everybody said, like literally everybody. But I'm like, no, it's like, yeah, there was dirt underneath the 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 movies to where there wasn't as many, but you're supposed to think that all that dirt like was
Ash.
just more movies, it's like that was the idea, rather than the whole
Yeah.
but but yeah, like that and I also love how there's another mirror like that one's obvious, like to where like it not ends completely, but it's like toward the end, the climax starts like with a fire, just like in the first one, and then and it's also like the motif of every obviously like symbolism of like it was symbolism in the first one, but then it's revealed that that was I was just fucking gaslighting and manipulating my audience to think that I actually changed because I'm a piece of shit. But then it's like in this one, the idea is I actually change, and then like it's like the symbolism in this one is obviously my entire world burning down. And one thing that I mentioned earlier that I forgot to get into more was the shot of the Synecdoche, New York, it's like I mean obviously that was a straight up fucking rip off of Birdman. And then like I honestly like at the last minute I kind of rolled my eyes with it like this is like I still like this, but it's like kind of cringe. Like it's a literal 1000% just rip off of Birdman. Like it's just people aren't gonna. I feel like it's gonna really take people out, especially that shot of Synecdoche, New York. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like I feel like that would really take people out. But at the same time, like I needed something to have like a block, like right before, Sean or not Sean, uh, Scott Goldberg calls me, and like I like the idea of like me closing my eyes and then thinking about something and like it's like this is it, and then just all of a sudden he calls me and interrupts. But it's like I had no other reason for me to close my eyes, and like I needed some other thing to show right before that happened. And I thought, fuck it, it's quick and I like it, but at the same time I feel like that it'll take people out. I don't know. But like the reason why I show the shot from Synecdoche, New York is because, like it's going with the theme or like the idea, in the wet movie scene. What'd you think of that? Like, pause for a second. What'd you think of the second wet movie scene where I'm talking to him on the phone?
It was funny.
It's like, it's like I'm like emotional. Like I just really like it because I'm like emotional, like on my.
Yeah.
But really, it's wet movie acting exactly like I always did, like when I was younger. And then it's like I'm finally starting to understand that, I'm just an immature fucking man child. Then it's like I'm listening to someone who's exactly like me, but it's like he's, and like the idea is that I the he's it's like funny but also like it's like two different conflicting tones or like two different tones at the same time. Like really you're supposed to take the scene seriously because it's at like a really serious part in the movie, but it's like also like wet movie just being so stupid, and like it's just such goofy humor with him like spread open my asshole. And it's like I don't know, like I really like it. But the idea there is that I'm like I feel like I've wasted my 20s, and like I've built this entire thing, this series, this and all this, and then like it's like I kind of like at the end of this I kind of feel like Caden Cotard at the end of Synecdoche, New York, like walking through the city that he's built. He's spent so much time building this, and then now it's like and like he like it's literally pretty much about me, like in certain ways about with. Have you seen Synecdoche, New York?
No.
Okay, never mind. Okay, so Philip Seymour Hoffman's character essentially creates a play that he works on throughout his entire life about like recreating moments from his life and things like that. And it's and he pours his entire life into it. And then at the very end he's an old man like getting ready to die, and he's walking around this giant utopia, life-size replica of New York City that he spent his whole life building for this play. And then it's like he still doesn't know how to do, still doesn't know how to do it. And he's like just walking around this thing he's built, and he's just looking around. I spent my whole life on this, and it's not I wasted my whole life building this, and it's like I felt like him at the end with like, creating this big thing, and then it all like being for nothing because like by the end of it it's all destroyed. Like like by the very I feel like the other thing is like I feel like people who are actually fans of me that actually take like my video, like take it seriously, like it's really kind of a middle finger. Like it's basically by the end of it saying fuck all of you, this is all done. like, and then by the end of it, like, like people are gonna look at the channel and it's gonna be like blank, or not blank, but like,
Yeah.
like all those videos are actually gone. They're like, oh, what the fuck? It's kind of like a big people could interpret it like a big middle finger, but at the same time, it's like, I'm talking like just people that are actual legitimate fans who like would actually take it seriously, which I really appreciate. But like, yeah, like that was the idea there, and but sorry, that was real. I need to get better at condensing things and like
No, you're good.
talking.
It's fine.
No, it's not fine.
Well,
I need
it's
help.
fine for me.
I need help.
Oh, well, don't we all in some way?
Speaking of needing help, um, I don't. I mean, so the third act specifically, like, okay, so did throughout the entire, really the whole thing, did you feel like you knew where it was going at certain parts, and then like, would you say that it like defy uh like what Ryan Johnson says, like whatever the word is, that defied your expectations or something, or
Yeah.
like just, or like was it, did the story play out like a lot differently than you would expect? Like I'm figuring the third act played very differently. Was because it just kind of comes out of nowhere with the exposed shit. But like,
Yeah, I didn't expect to go there.
no, I'm saying like, but before that though, like, did you I mean, like, did you feel like it was like predictable at all throughout any of it, or no?
No.
Hmm. And then because I kind of feel like I was thinking about it like when I was editing uh the third act, and it's funny because like at the end of editing, it actually, I believe it's like about the minute in Endgame to where this moment happens. I feel like, in Endgame, there's the moment where, Hulk snaps and brings everybody back, and then it's like, okay, it's like you feel like the movie's like drawing to a close, like, whatever, cool. They got the stones, they won, he snapped everybody back into existence, and there's the quiet moment of like, okay, cool. I mean, obviously, things are about to go wrong because he blasts his ship through the thing. But then, there's that quiet moment where he's like, I think it worked. Then all of a sudden, they see the missile like flying through the air, and
Yeah.
boom, it just like blows everything up. Like where you think the movie's gonna end or like
Yeah.
draw to a close. But then I feel like that's the moment with this, to where it's like after the fire, you're like, okay, cool, whatever. He lit all the things on fire, and then it's like you feel like the movie's going to draw to a close, like when I close my eyes, and then all of a sudden there's like the missile moment, like Josh fires off, then boom, and then like the whole rest of the movie, the last hour or whatever, is like a whole new conflict and a whole new thing that I have to tackle and deal with, and like that is just a unexpected thing that goes in a completely different direction. So like, yeah.
Yeah. I actually, the scene where you go to shoot, Josh, I actually thought you were buying a gun to kill. I thought you were getting a gun to kill yourself.
Oh, so like I thought I really tried to make it apparent that like I'm angry and then I'm going to kill Josh, It's like,
Yeah.
it's like, so like, but you thought that was like for me to like kill myself?
Yeah, at first that's what I thought was going on.
Well, I mean, like, well, no, because like I drive, I'm driving. It's like you would think that
Yeah.
I'd go to like a park or a lake or something, or the where I ended back to where I ended the first movie, and so, like, but no, it's like I drive, and then I show a shot of Cleveland, and then Mentor, when I drive under that, and you saw that shot earlier, toward the beginning, like in the first scenes with Josh, right before where I smoke weed for the first time with him. So it's like, I don't know, I really tried to make it clear that that was the, like I was going to kill Josh, but
Yeah.
Yeah, but what did you think of that? Like that whole thing where I literally had a gun, like I'm going to kill Josh.
I was like, oh my goodness, that took a dark turn.
I know, but it's like it goes into like actual like an actual movie like
Yeah.
narrative, like and like what'd you think of like that whole thing? Like where okay, so first of all, that music where I leave and I go to the gun store, like like that music goes from The Gift. Have you seen The Gift with Jason Bateman?
Yes, but I have seen that. I didn't remember that though. Holy crap.
Yeah, that's kind of I feel like people who even like that movie maybe wouldn't get that. But no, that was when he leaves to go to the when he right after he watches the tape of him wearing the monkey mask, he's driving away and he's like, "What did you do?" It's that and I love the way the music plays in that. And then but then um so did you feel like the placement of where the scenes are with Mason, like, okay, because like I personally think it works, but like maybe you don't, like maybe I should have included. Did you think that where I show like the scene with Mason where he's explaining to me that he has a kid? Do you think that should have been like before the scene where like where I show the Saw montage and then he like drives away and like you think I should have showed that first or
No, I think where it's at is great because it's like, like I don't think I think if you put it before that, I don't think it would have as much meaning.
yeah, I couldn't agree more. Like it's and also did you notice I used the whale soundtrack like in that scene?
I did not because I have not seen that movie.
Oh, okay. It was from the very end of the whale. And so
Oh,
like what did you think of that whole scene like where Mason explains that he and did you understand that that was like supposed to be obviously it's when he hits me, it's like at the very end of that. Like that's like at the moment right when he beats the shit out of me, like in the Saw montage. But
yeah.
it's like, did you get that that was supposed to be right before he beats the shit out of me in the previous scene?
Yeah, a little bit before. Yeah, I did get that.
What did you think of that scene?
Well, that actually was like a bombshell. I was like, wait, what?
Did you know that Mason has a kid though? Like, do you follow him on Instagram or
No,
anything?
I don't.
Dude. Okay, so what'd you think of it? Did you think that it didn't work because maybe it like came out of nowhere or
No,
like
I think it worked, but it was just like, whoa, like, that's a twist.
it just came out of nowhere? Like did you like
Well, because what happened was he just graduated high school in the movie, and the next thing you know, he's got a kid. I'm like, wait, whoa, where's the time jump?
well yeah, I mean, but the but you know what's I mean, it's pretty I mean, obviously that could have been faked, but that was actually 1000% real. Like I'm not kidding. And it was actually happening around that time as well. So like it was all that was all real. I'm not shitting you. He actually has a kid.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, congratulations to Mason for having a kid.
Yeah. I mean, cuz like somebody told like I was thinking before like it would be super disrespectful for me to ask him if I could have that in there but then I had this idea and then he agreed to it as long as we were vague about the details and I said okay and then we just did it and then yeah like it I okay so be honest, okay? Like be dead 100% honest. If I was bad, please tell me because like I felt like there are parts to where I was okay, like it to where it was okay enough, but like through a lot of it I felt like I was bad. Did you feel like my like because I cry a lot in this motherfucker. Okay, like, did you feel like my crying was like good to decent, or did you think that it was like not very good, like kind of amateur acting,
Oh
or
no, it
what?
was really good. I actually better crier than me. I'll tell you that.
Well, I mean, your crying was 100% real,
Oh
which
yeah,
like which like my crying was real, but at the same time, I was trying to make it more like like there are points to where I was not completely real, like because I mean just because there are like five different ones, but like
yeah.
um there was I mean to where I was trying to make it look more authentic, and I don't know. But I was pretty emotional and like I was legitimately emotional, but I wasn't like crying that much if like for the it's like I was trying harder like for the scene, like if that makes sense. But like yeah, I mean, and then like they always say show don't tell. That's another thing is that I tried to show. Obviously there's fuckloads of telling in this over showing, but I really tried to show and not tell way more in this. Specifically the last moment with Mason, to where I look at the pictures and then I see that he wasn't happy in our relationship and he was happy, and then like him smiling in the other pictures, and then I nod, and it's just like, man, like when Mason sees that, he's gonna be like, I mean, because it's like that's what cinema's about, It's like I wish I would have thrown more of those types of moments in there to where it's showing and not telling, but it's like that is just the single idea of cinema, is just showing and not telling, but like but of course Richard Linklater is like, no, fuck that, just tell it all. But yeah, and then I guess with the whole stuff after that, like with Josh, what'd you think of all that? Like where I actually show up to his house like with the gun and everything.
Oh my goodness, I was like, whoa, is he really gonna do this?
And like I was thinking of it like, okay, so like I'm talking like I actually think, like this is good. Like I don't think not it's not good, but I'm just saying like I was kind of thinking of it like Hitchcock's idea of suspense was, everybody knows there's a bomb under the table, but if a bomb goes off, there's no suspense. But if everyone knows there's a bomb under the table that's gonna go off, everyone's, you're like, oh my god, like you're and then it's like the gun, in the fact that like Josh and I are talking, and just the fact that that I have a gun, and the whole time, you know,
Yeah,
is like the bomb element of it, of what Hitchcock was explaining. It's like I I really tried to pull off that kind of suspense with that, and like and um I don't know, like was there anything lacking? Because like in my opinion, that whole sequence, it's like I got what I needed to make a decent enough um sequence out of the footage that I got from that, but in my opinion, like it could have been better. Um, I think like there could have been a lot more to it, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, I don't know. Like, what'd you? I don't know. Like, I keep saying like, oh, what'd you think about this? But it's like,
yeah. Everything is really good. The way it was shot, edited, everything really flow. I don't know what I'm saying anymore.
well, I appreciate it. I'm just trying to like see if like there's anything I could have like,
Yeah,
if you think like I could have done differently, or like anything that was lacking or anything like that.
no, everything turned out really well with it.
Well, I really appreciate that. And with so of course the heart attack stuff, like I really emphasized that, like when I found out I had high blood pressure, which is 100% real. I actually do have high blood pressure. And then I really did lose weight. Did you notice the
Yeah, I
reason?
did know. I did notice the time when I did notice that you lost weight in between different parts of this movie.
And so like with the idea is that in the Texas stuff, I'm super skinny. And then, but the idea is that I say I haven't eaten for a week, like right before I go. And then, like in the next scene, I'm super skinny. And so, like, it's like that's the justification for me being super skinny. And then, of course, I got fatter. And then, like, and so with, um, it's like when I tried to throw a little bit of me like holding my chest, to sort of set up, that I'm gonna have the heart attack. But did you like? Was it obvious that I was about to fucking drop down and have a heart attack like throughout that whole sequence, or no? Because I was panting a lot and shit, or like when the screen cut to white, was it like a complete surprise?
Oh, it was pretty much like okay, I could see where that I could see him having one. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because like the idea is I didn't want to make it super apparent. I wanted to throw in the a little bit of me clenching my chest and shit, but like I didn't want to make it so apparent that it's just people knew exactly what was gonna happen.
Yeah.
And like but after that though, like with the oh yeah, so you've seen Prisoners, right?
Yes.
That did you catch that music when we're driving to the hospital? If that was from Prisoners?
Actually, I did not.
Yeah, like from when at the end where he's driving to the hospital. The same thing, driving to a fucking hospital. Like that was from Prisoners. And then um the hospital stuff. Like what'd you think of all that?
Well, I like how Josh took your computer.
And then yeah, like I mean, you mean like and like watch the movie and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah. And like
That Clerks 3?
yeah, yes, but at the same time makes sense for this movie. Like I don't know. In my opinion, it makes sense for this movie and like how it ends. Because the idea with having that be the way the movie ends, pretty much is obviously everybody in this movie just thinks I'm an annoying piece of shit. And, like nobody just like what I said, people don't may not understand me or what I'm trying to do now, but in time they will. And then like, at the end, it's like all I want is admiration from people, from somebody, not just, just from somebody that I'm doing something like with what I said at the beginning of the movie, that like I'm trying to be an auteur. I'm trying to be, like a filmmaker that is gonna break the fabric of cinema and do something that it's like I'm wanting that admiration, in general, and then it's like clearly, obviously, but it's like nobody gives that to me because everyone just despises what I'm doing with a dying bloody passion to an absurd degree, to the most absurd degree you could possibly get. Despise, and then Josh, obviously, throughout the whole thing super mean to me, despises it, despises it, despises it, super mean to me, fuck you, da 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 da. You're annoying, we're not characters, you're this. And I love that line, both lines from like, I loved all my friends with all my heart. He's like, you mean your characters? You loved your characters with all of your heart? And then it's like, you think like, oh fuck, he's got a gun. He better not fucking fuck with him.
Yeah.
But I wish I would have showed more of like the when I pull the clip out. It's just such a quick moment where like you have to pause it to see the bullets. Did you pause it or no?
No, cause even though he thought it was a fake gun, he showed it wasn't. He's like, oh shit.
Uh-huh. And like yeah, that and also that track from when and like also like the when I'm like when I show up to his house, like it's like there's been music, just a really loud music throughout really the whole movie, but like especially through that last sequence. I tried to obviously, and then obviously extremely loud of music with the obviously the whole sequence, but then with the whale music and the previous scene, but then once I got there, I like how it's zero music. It's just like atmospheric, like suspense, like oh shit, what's gonna happen? And then music starts again when I reveal that it's a real gun, and then like that's another long take. Like that was like a over 1 minute long take where we're just talking, and then like when I pull out the gun and shit, and then it cuts back to the other takes and gets cuts back and forth, and then like you know, um, I've wanted to use that track for a long time as well, like when I pull out the gun and stuff, and then it's been in several movies, Arrival and Disconnect, and it's been in tons of movies. But I've always loved that track, and then also like with the final sequence where he's like watching the movie, and then like he finally understands like what I was going for, and like it's all just like I really like how it concludes, and I think it fits with everything. She says like this is like what we've always wanted, like since we were kids. We love movies so much, and and that was all Josh. Like I wasn't, and it's like most of what Josh says, Josh's dialogue is just all him. It's not from me. And then he watches the movie and then finally understands what I've been trying to do this whole time, and then you know he finally sees it. He sees what I was trying to do, but then now it's like it's all over, and he finally like understands. It feels bad like what he did, to me, and then but it's also a movie about like friendship and about um just simply about friendship, and about how Josh like finally takes it all in, like after seeing the whole movie and how I felt about everything, and and then seeing the clips of me like in the exposed sequence, because I wouldn't have had it edited at that point because it all happened on the same day. You looked at the clip, and then it's like he finally feels the empathy, even though he felt like zero empathy, like when but it's like I again I love the idea of like how he doesn't like it's like while the exposed video thing is happening, it's like clear that he's just like a literal like narcissist with absolutely zero empathy, and is just completely willing to destroy my whole life with any sort of empathy or remorse or anything like that. It's just like just boom, just but then like he explains himself when I actually get to his house. He said, at the same time, I will always want what's best for you, and like it shows that he does have, does still care about me to a certain degree, even though he legitimately like hates the person that I've become, from when we were kids, like just like what everyone else, how everyone else feels about me, but he still feels, and then like by the end of it, when I'm in the place, he's like, "It's all right, buddy," and then do you think okay, sorry, I know I'm kind of rambling, but with the but the idea with the very end, where he watches it, then he says that was a fucking work of art. It's like he's giving me the admiration and like what I've been searching for the whole movie. He's giving that to me in like a super bold way, like that was a work of art. And he's crying and he's saying that was a masterpiece, and like he's giving me the admiration I've been looking for throughout the whole movie. And then it's like I'm not even looking at him. I'm turned around. I'm not even looking at him at all, you know? And it's like I won't even look at him. It's like I don't care, And then I don't know, I think that's pretty profound, like for the movie. And then but what did you think of the sound choice or the music choice with the both renditions of Hurt, like Johnny Cash and the Nine Inch Nails?
They were both really good. Nine Inch Nails, I'm not really a huge fan of, but it worked for that. They both it really did work for that.
Thank you. And I've never heard of that kind of thing about how like a movie would use two different versions of the same song in the same scene even.
Yeah.
But I thought, the Johnny Cash one wouldn't have fit tonally in the first half of the scene, but I feel like you know they both totally fit like where they both were. But of course, like I feel like to everyone the furlong thing was. Did you catch that it was the music from T2 like right when it started or no?
No.
And of course, I'm sure you're surprised to like hear the little tiny furlong scene.
Yeah. That was funny.
And then like obviously I just had that heart attack, and so it's like it relates to that. And then it's like the idea is that like but again it's just so funny because I ended up like by the end of it it's like the idea is that like if you're a bad person, like you'll get what like you'll get what you deserve. That's another one of the things about it. And like I've been a bad person for so and then like by the end of it, I'm just it's kind of like Eddington in a way, like I mean without spoiling the end of Eddington, it's kind of similar to that, like like at the end, like he is just it's supposed to be kind of like they could like the idea is that like I didn't really communicate it, but I'm supposed to be like Eddie's friend. He said he can't really do much now because it fucked his system up so much, It's like, I get canceled, I lose all of my friends, I lose like it gets like the it's just like funny about how low I am like by the very end. And then it's like by the end I literally lose everything. Like I have a heart attack. That fucks my whole life up. My reputation's completely fucked. I lose all my videos, everything that I've built throughout the last 10 years. My reputation and I'm locked up for a long time. And so I mean, what'd you think of that? The last part of like the insane asylum.
I figured it was an insane asylum. I'm like, oh god, he is getting that help. I like how Josh's like, you're gonna get all the help you need. No computers, no phones, no nothing.
Cause like it's like Josh could have sent me to prison, but instead and then it's like, and then again, I love the idea of like, he's like, you spent the whole journey of this movie trying to find a home and you finally found one. And it's like, that's what the whole movie is, me trying to find a home. And then it's like, by the very end, I found one, and it's just like, oh man, it's fucking crazy.
I did like the one more time.
Yeah, I was really trying to think of like what song to use for the end credits, and then it's like that one, of course, I had to cut it up a lot, and it's
Yeah.
obviously very noticeably cut up. But
Yeah. Still
I really
works.
like, but I really like the end credits, and
Right
and
on.
like I don't know. You have any more thoughts of like I guess like the very end or like you know.
Not really, no.
I know we've been talking for so long. You sound so tired.
I'm a little tired, but yeah, but I mean, we pretty much went over everything for the most part, actually.
Yeah, I think literally everything. But like the after credits scene though with Bronson. Did you think that like you're like, "Oh shit, an after credits
Yeah, I didn't think there was gonna be one.
scene?" And then I don't yeah, I like it. What'd you think?
Oh my goodness, I was glad to see that. Oh, I like Bronson a lot.
Oh, me too. I love him. He's a great guy. And yeah, I didn't think there was going to be one either until like I'm like, yeah, fuck it. And then that ending montage thing at the very end of the credits, like I don't know. I mean, I love it, and I'm gonna keep it, but at the same time, like if I cut that, it would relieve 3 minutes from it, and then it would be so like with the after credits scene, the actual credits, and that thing, the credits are like over 6 minutes long. And so really like the movie's 2 hours and 45 minutes, but then like with the I don't know, it's like 2 hours and I'm keeping the after I would completely keep the after credits scene, but 2 hours and 48 minutes sounds a lot better than 2 hours 51, but whatever. I kept it and yeah. I guess I mean yeah, I mean and then, like that was pretty emotional for me seeing all the deleted videos, like all those clips. But like, it might throw people off because like they'll be, or not really, like they'll probably think like, oh, like what I thought all the videos were deleted, like um, I don't know,
Yeah.
but anyway, um, I feel like with most of everything I've said the past 4 hours, I could have like condensed down to like just a few sentences instead of like a 6 minute ramble. But so I need to do better at condensing things and talking and things. Like if this was a panel at like a convention or something, to where I only had like 30 minutes, like it would be or like like it's like Kevin Smith. You ask him one question and he talks for like 12 minutes.
I know, right?
And yeah, but I mean, I'm saying like I'm sorry about that. It's just like I don't know.